that God has been faithful. God has been keeping us. It's God's mercy. It is faithfulness. It is love we have enjoyed. Let's give him praise. Let's appreciate him for all that. Father, we give you praise this morning, this afternoon. We thank you. Let's also thank God for the insight he has given us, even in COVID-19, to project beyond this era. Let's thank him for the privilege to position ourselves well to fit into what is coming. Let's give God praise for this. Father, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for insights. We give you praise for what you're going to do. Let's also pray that what God is going to do today, let's pray that God will take charge. Let's pray that God will take control. Let's also pray that you will not just come. You have come with expectations. Let's pray that your expectations will be met. Let's pray that there's going to be evidence and groundbreaking testimonies as a result of this program. Let's pray it's going to be the game changer of our lives. Let's pray that God is going to make us relevant. He's going to position us to the right place to fit into our world, fit into make a change. Let's pray that God is going to bless you mightily in this program. Let's pray that all devices, everything is going to go well and everything will run seamlessly in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed.
Amen.
Lord, we want to thank you so much for the privilege of gathering together to be blessed of you. We want to thank you, oh God, for COVID-19 period and the challenges it has brought. And thank you because we're not just sitting down and morosing over the negatives, but it's projecting us to be positioned well for what is coming. Father, we give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Father, this afternoon, we pray that as we go into this program, as we discuss digital transformation, I pray we'll be transformed indeed in Jesus' name. We pray, Lord, it will not just be a program. We pray, Lord, it's going to have evidence. We're going to record testimonies. You will bless us mightily beyond our expectation. And I pray the right word that will spur each and every one of us and position us right. We pray you will give to every one of us in Jesus' name. We welcome you into this program, Holy Spirit, and we depend on you for the running of this program seamlessly. And we pray in the end of it all, it's going to be great. It's going to be a huge success in Jesus' name.
Amen.
In Jesus' name, we've prayed.
Amen.
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 We want to thank you so much. We thank you, everyone, for coming. We thank you. We are very happy to have you here. Those joining us on Facebook, those joining us on YouTube, those following us on Instagram, we welcome you. We're excited to have you in our midst. I remain Opeyemi Taiwo, and I am your moderator, and we're going to be running this program all through. I'm going to be carrying you along all the programs and all the features that is going to be featuring all the steps and all the programs that we have lined up for this forum. And I pray that as we go through, we're going to be greatly blessed in Jesus' name. So just a quick rundown of how the program is going to go. You see from the flyer already that we have lots of demos. We have Udo PhD, who is going to be presenting on communication skills. We have Yakubu Balogun, who is going to be talking on machine learning, and he's going to be giving us a demo using Python. We have Sule Onoja, who is going to be talking on data analytics. And we have Priscilla Balogun, who is going to be talking on online marketing. It's going to be an explosive time. And I don't want you to forget that the main live session is going to be happening with Stella Maris Amama, who is a data analyst in CNOC. And we've also told you that we have Toby Kasali in the house. That is one digital transformation expert we have in the house. And we also have, we are privileged to have the presence of engineer Dayo Adebayo, who is into data governance. We have such powerful set of resource people in the house. We are in capable hands, and I want to assure you that it's going to be explosive. All your questions will be answered. Now, first, I want you to just find your way around Zoom and look for the raise hand icon. For those of you who have questions, by the time we're going to be going into the live session is going to start by 1:45 thereabout. So I want you to just begin to gather your questions, begin to compile your questions. Those of you that want to ask verbally, just click on the raise hand icon, and we'll unmute you, and you'll be able to ask your questions. And those of you on Facebook, YouTube, and even on Zoom that want to ask, using the chat button, you can just type in your message. We're going to compile them together, and we're going to be asking them, and I can assure you that your questions will be answered, because we just have the right hands to answer that. And then some of you will just be wondering, okay, what is digital transformation? Digital transformation, we're going to have these talks, and they are going to open our minds, expose us to the skills, expose us to what digital transformation is all about. I tell you, you don't want to miss any beats. You don't want to miss any beats. So please, I want you to just stay tuned. I want your minds to be here, and I pray we are going to be blessed in Jesus' name. Amen. So this program is actually brought to you by Glight, and Glight Ambassador. That is what we call ourselves. And you've heard from Yakubu Balogun. He's the convener. He's our chief convener. He's the chairman of the Glight ambassadors in Aberdeen. And Glight, what do we do in Glight? Glight, we are a band of students from University of Aberdeen and Robert Gordon University here in Aberdeen, who are passionate about Jesus and seek to be models of excellence. This is our mission. This is who we are, and this is who we demonstrate. And you can see that even from the projection into the post-COVID-19 era. And this is what we do monthly here in Glight. This is how we meet monthly. We have every month a seminar. This year we started with mental health, and I can tell you there have been groundbreaking testimonies. Lives have been changed. We see people's lives transformed from our mental health. We've seen a follow-up discussions. We've gone through people. We've gone through with people. We've seen results. And I want to tell you that it's going to be explosive. And we are not hindered, not even by COVID-19. And that is why we are bringing you this great one too. So I want you to like us on Facebook. Our name on Facebook is Glight Ambassadors Aberdeen, and we also have another Facebook page, which is the Deeper Life Campus Fellowship RGU Aberdeen. You can see displayed on your screen. And I also want you to follow us on Instagram, which is at Glight Ambassadors Aberdeen. And it's interesting to note here, I want you to note that the Glight Ambassadors Aberdeen is the campus fellowship arm of the Deeper Life Bible Church Aberdeen. And we are privileged to have a data analyst guru. We have a digital pastor, and that is the person of Engineer Dayo Adebayo. It's exciting to actually, you know, when you have a leader that is there, that is post COVID-19, is digitally transformed, you have no choice than to follow. We are challenged, we are positively challenged. So we want you to like our page, we want you to follow us on our platform, so you can be updates. You know, you can keep up with our events, because we'll keep bringing you explosive and mind-breaking things. And we just want you to be excellent. We believe in a whole life excellence, whole round excellence, and that is what we believe. That is what we are out to do. And I pray that as you follow us, you'll be blessed in Jesus' name. Before we continue, before we go into the live session, I want to. Okay, so we have. Glight, we're a band of students from University of Aberdeen and Robert Gordon University. Okay, so this is actually a continuation of what we have said. Now, before we go into the live session, we're going to be having some of these demos, as I told you earlier, to open our minds to what digital transformation is, introduce us to what digital transformation is. The topic might be fascinating, but you don't know so much about it. So we have people, competent hands, who are ready and who are going to tell us what digital transformation is all about. And I want to make the first presentation of what digital transformation is about is none other but our very own president, our father in Glight, and that is the person of Yakubu Balogun. Yakubu Balogun is a seasoned and numerate scientist with a degree in geology, master's in petroleum technology, and an engineering PhD in view at the RGU University. He has over half a decade combined experience in the oil and gas and academia, and currently lectures on part-time basis with the International College in Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen. He has worked on different data analyst projects and volunteers with the Society of Petroleum Engineers, that's SPE, in Robert Gordon University, which has furthered his knowledge and skills in social media and digital marketing. I sincerely welcome you, Yakubu Balogun. It's my honor to present Yakubu Balogun as he introduces us to what digital transformation is all about. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for that introduction. That was a good one. Thank you. I'll be taking over the screen just now, and now we'll be doing a share. I'll be sharing screen of what I'll be talking about for a couple of minutes. Right. Akbar, if you confirm, you can see my screen and everything looks good.
Perfect.
Everything right, Akbar, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Everything is perfect.
Oh, that's fine. That's great. So good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you to the seminar today. So what we're starting with is an introductory of what exactly is digital transformation. In the world we live in today, digital transformation has become like a cliche word, if you put it that way, if you allow me. That many people talk about digital transformation. Now, we want to say exactly what is digital transformation. And many times when we discuss digital transformation, we look at it in the perspective of a corporation, of a company. But right now, we want to zoom in. We want to see digital transformation as it affects individuals and not just a big corporation. When I say individuals, I mean you and I, people that are climbing up in the career ladder, people that are students, people that have got some small scale businesses, small and medium enterprise, entrepreneurs. What exactly is digital transformation? How can you transform digitally so as to optimize, so as to improve what you do in this age and after, when this lockdown is going to be over? So I've just got a couple of slides here. And in these slides, we're going to see exactly what we'll be talking about one after the other. Firstly, the first slide says, when we talk about digital transformation, we're discussing basically the change that is associated with the application of digital technology in every aspect of human society. That's exactly what we're discussing. Now, if we bring it into business terminology, what is digital transformation? The process of using digital technology. What we're doing with digital technology now, we're trying to modify a pre-existing business process or model or culture so as to improve what the customer experiences, to meet the business challenges. We want to improve efficiency. Now, what am I trying to say? Before now, when we're doing this program, we're going to gather somewhere. We're going to pay money for a hall. Some persons are going to have to transport themselves to where the program is going to be taking place. But right now, we could do it using digital technology. Now, we actually have not created a new program, but we have modified the monthly program that we do in ROGU or in Uni Aberdeen. We've modified it. And why did we modify it? We want to improve customer experience. We want to make sure that the people that will benefit from this program are not limited by distance. They are not limited by location. They are not limited by transportation. They don't need to pay money for fuel or transportation for them to benefit from what we want to talk about. So you see that actually we did not create a new program. We've modified the pre-existing program. And that is exactly what we're talking about, digital transformation. If you look at these slides, it will interest you to note that before now, we all use these, and the people that made this thing, they've transformed and they've looked at it. What can we do to improve efficiency? What can we do to improve the customer experience? What can we do better? All of these, you can see how it maps out to something new here. This is what we used to have before, and this is what we have now. There's lots of difference in it. If you look at this, many years ago, when they make all of our Hollywood movies, or when they make movies anywhere, they've got this helicopter, this choppers that the cameraman used to get overhead shots. If you go to some other production scene where they don't have fun for this, they've got like big crane cameras. And that is what the cameraman is going to use to capture some overhead shot, but that was then. And this is digital transformation. Now we've got drones. The point about digital transformation is this. I like to take you back to the previous slides what we're interested in digital transformation is, can we improve what we are doing? Can we improve the customer experience? Can we improve efficiency? And somehow, digital transformation, if you allow me, I would say it's got no conscience. It doesn't think about the persons that will be out of job. And that is why somebody puts it this way, that when we discuss digital transformation, it is either you innovate or you just go on extinction. That is exactly how it is. Now, technically, if this man doesn't improve to know how to operate this drone, he's going to be out of job. I remember many years ago, I was in Nigeria and we used to listen to message in church, and we've got lots of things like this. There'll be somebody here who will say, check the LMB, turn the LMB, twin it very well, turn it and see if it's going to work. And sometimes the whole thing is making squishy. We just can't get what is being said from the screen. That time has passed. With just a small Wi-Fi device, you can get all of these things together without all of these big things. Remember what I'm saying? Customer experience. Remember what I'm saying? We are trying to modify something that is already there. We want to improve efficiency. We want to improve the customer experience. And if we can do these things, there is no way money side wouldn't come. And we're getting there gradually. The business side of things will come gradually. Now let's go to church. This program is being organized by Deeper Life Campus Fellowship and the Glight Ambassadors. Before now, we gather in church. It's a big hall we have here in Aberdeen, and we all congregate. But right now, we don't do that. This is how we do our fellowship. Now, this is digital transformation. Well, we are still a church. We are still a fellowship. But right now, we have used digital technology to modify what we were doing before. Before now, we've got different choirs in different churches, different congregations that come up to sing. That time, COVID-19 has just taken it away. The opportunity is not there right now. The choirs, they've also digitized, they've upgraded, they've been digitally transformed, that they sing their song, they do the mixing, and they present it even in this format. You're using digital technology in your music. Oh, this is a university campus. Before now, university education must be via brick and mortar buildings. Even in secondary school, post-primary education, it needs to be in a classroom. You need to be able to see the teacher. You need to be able to interact physically. Lots of things have changed. Things have been digitally transformed. And I like to say something, that digital transformation, as I said before now, hasn't got a conscience, has got no emotions. You just need to move with it. If you still want to be effective, if you still want to be in life, if you still want to be in business. I remember I saw a post on social media, and somebody was trying to raise some level of empathy on people that sell these recharge for our cell phones, and says the people that sell, these vendors that sell the recharge on the cell phones, you need to feel for them. You need to have pity on them and make sure you patronize them, and don't recharge your cell phone from maybe your bank online website or the app you've got in your phone. But that is not going to sell. It's not a matter of pity. It's not a matter of empathy. It's not a matter of emotion. It is digital transformation. The experience that you get from recharging your phone from your cell phone, just from your app there, is far higher than you having to walk 1 or 2 miles to get the recharge. That is digital transformation. So the essence of this program is to ignite the passion in us and say, what exactly am I doing? Oh, yes, I'm operating a barbering salon. Can I digitize this thing? Can I do anything to improve the customer experience? Is there anything I can gain from it? Absolutely, there's a lot. Just stick with us and you'll see there's a lot you can gain from it. I like to look at digital transformation as 3 broad areas. We've got the people involved, we've got the process involved, we've got the technology. Now, as I'm doing this discussion, I want you to start thinking about what exactly do you do? You've got a small or medium enterprise. You're an entrepreneur. It means you've got a particular process that you do. You've got a business. You've got an idea. You've just got something that you're doing. Oh, that's fine. Now, when we discuss digital transformation, in this side, you see one thing is key here, customer centricity. And that's why I say to you, it's not just about the emotion or the empathy of the person that is selling the recharge card vendor. It's about the experience that the audience is going to get. Now, I'm not going to talk so much on this. I like to center on this side of things and a little bit about this. Now, when we talk about data-driven issue, we'll come to this in the demo where we'll be using Python and machine learning to look at what it means to get some data-driven decisions, what it means to derive insight, actionable insight from data. But let's stick here. This is where we want to be. What's the essence of this meeting? The essence of this meeting is to speak to you, Ross, and tell us that in the world we're living in and where we're going as a person, as a people, there is the need for new talents. And the need is very, very loud, is very, very bold. It's in capital letter, is in bold, and it's underlined. New talent of people that can adapt to the needs and to be able to capture the attention of the audience, of the customer, of the business that they are dealing with. And when I say business, when I say customer, put it in any perspective of what you're doing. If you are a pastor, if I say business, understand that you are in business. If I say marketing and you are a pastor, understand you're a marketer because you were talking about Jesus to people. You were trying to sell something. Now, if I talk about business, understand that if you're working as an engineer, if you're working as an educator, I teach in a university, and I understand the fact that without digital transformation, people are going to be out of job. I've been teaching students in their classroom before now, but when COVID-19 came, I teach in my bedroom. Everything has gone digital. I do my annotation, I do my slides, I do my communication, and I teach my students right from here. If there's no digital transformation in the university, it means the students' study, everything is completely cut short, and we're unable to fulfill that objective. So you need talents, people that can do new things. And we talk about the mindset. We need to be able to adapt. What else are we talking about? We talk about collaboration. These three things is what we'll be discussing today. So this is actually where we'll be sticking on in our program, but we'll cut a little bit of some of the technology side of things and some of the process side of things. I reckon that lots of people that are in this meeting are going to be in this generation, these millennials, and also in these Gen Zers. I think this is going to be the majority of the people in this meeting. It's an assumption, but I think I'm right. I know we still have some people that are baby boomer generation. If you don't know, actually, baby boomer generation, people from 1946 to 1964, lots of people in this age range, they are exiting the workforce. People in this age range, well, in a decade or two, they will also be exiting. So I like to zoom in on people in this class. If you are in this generation, between 1980 to 1990, the millennials, and peradventure, you are from 2000 upwards. This is the category, this is the age range that will be dominating the workforce in the next couple of years. Now, the question is this: if you are in this age range and you realize that it is your age range that will be dominating the workforce in a couple of years, what do you need at a time as this? You need to be digitally transformed for you to be able to function. Now, I've talked a lot about digital transformation, and I've made mention of some areas. If we go to e-commerce as one area of digital transformation, before now, when we want to buy lots of stuff, you go to the corner shop. We've got Asda, we've got Tesco here. But when there was lockdown, the money Amazon had not made. I mean, if you look at the period of lockdown for the past 2 months or 1 month, the amount Amazon has made, I don't want to get specific, but if you scale it, juxtapose the amount they've made with what they've made within a month, you just can't compare. Why? It is about digital transformation. While some other shops, I was just reading today in the news, and the boss that runs in Aberdeen says their patronage has gone down by 85%. So say they are having 100 persons before, right now they're having like 15. Number one, some people fear because they might contact the virus. They don't want to get on the bus anymore. Some other, generally, people don't even go out so much. So there's lots of business that has been cut short for some sectors. But for those that are in digitally transformed sector, this is a season where they are very loud and bold in what they do. So in e-commerce, people have brought in lots of digital marketing strategies, lots of Google Analytics, doing stuff online and making money even in this era. If we go down to Africa, you begin to talk about Jumia. When Jumia was coming to Nigeria, coming to Africa, it seemed like this is not possible. I mean, there's no internet, or internet is not stable. These things are not going to work. It can work abroad. We have Amazon, we have eBay, we have the like of it. It probably would not, but when it got there, you see the difference. Let's talk about transportation. Before now, you probably would go somewhere, you get a taxi and all that. When Uber came, Uber doesn't really need to have the taxi. They've got the platform, digital transformation. And you come with your taxi and you can register in Uber, and from the app, they can do lots of bookings, and then you just come, they carry you with GPS, with all of the API connected digital transformation. Airbnb is at the top of short letting before this lockdown came. Before now, you need to go to a hotel, maybe book through the hotel website and do lots of stuff. But Airbnb, that is what we call disruptive innovation. So they have came with innovation, and they have obviously disrupted the present business climate. The operational climate has been disrupted. If we go to the educational sector, you'll see lots of these ivory universities. Before now, you want to learn stuff, you need to go to the normal brick and mortar classroom, but to begin to see different universities, just name it, Stanford University, different universities from the United States and from different places, they've got lots of courses that are online now. You go on EDS, you go on Coursera, you go on Udemy, you see how education, impartation of knowledge, sharing of knowledge has gone beyond you having to travel, put on your bag, and you go to campus. You stay in your house and you can get the knowledge that you need. It is all through digital technology. The point I'm making is this: it's still education. We're not creating something new. We are educating people, but we have employed digital technology to be able to tweak the way and manner it is being done. Now let's go to the manufacturing industry. There are lots of people working in factories. When COVID-19 came, these factories could not run anymore because there is social distancing. People cannot go to work. You need to stay at home. But with robotic process automation, you see lots of things can run with limited amount of persons. And I like to say something when we discuss RPA, robotic process automation. Number one, it doesn't mean you need to see some big gigantic robots doing stuff. Sometimes you do these things just soft in the system. You can set up some things, it's just soft. Like when I say soft, it's just in the system, just run some using UiPath platform. You just make some arrangement, just put some sequencing of different steps and events, and lots of things can happen in your computer while you're not there. I give you a very good example. Say you are a job seeker and you understand what robotic process automation is. You can set a robot to help you search for job, and you say, I'm searching for job in Indeed.com. You will set up the robot, and the robot will go to Indeed.com for you, type in the job that you want. I want job of a mechanical engineering, and you put some condition there, and it will do the scraping of all the job that meet the requirement. You set up everything, and you say, send this to an email. You put in your email, set up everything, and you can ask it to do that every Monday morning. So at that particular time, it just goes there, goes into the website, get the information, sends it across to your email. You don't need to go do repetitive tasks. That is what robotic process automation takes away. Repetitive tasks that you're doing in the companies, these things are being taken over by robots. Internet of Things. You work in the industry, lots of these stuffs are connected with different sensors, and these sensors communicate in real time, and lots of decisions are being made. Artificial intelligence. We zoom in from artificial intelligence to machine learning to neural networks. All of these things are changing the way operations are being taken place in manufacturing industries, in automobile industry. We talk about cloud computing. Instead of having big and gigantic servers that you service, you power it and all that, lots of these things have gone in the cloud. If you look at this, you see digital transformation has changed the landscape, the climate of a lot of things happening. The question I'm saying is this, or the question I'm posing to you in this: if you are in the age range where you know that the workforce is going to be dominated with people in this category, I tell you the truth, I lie not, you need to understand what digital transformation is, and you need to take your place in the circumference that is captured. You need to take your place in the domain of digital transformation for you to function in the next couple of years coming. Now, this is the future. Before now, You need to work from 9 to 5. Oh, that has passed. Now you need to work anytime. COVID-19 has actually come as a catalyst to change this thing. There's been a lot of talk about digital transformation, how to do things are changing. But when COVID-19 came, lots of things just came. Like it is a catalyst to this, that now you work anytime. The most important thing is not how much time you work. The most important thing is the output you're getting out of it. I'm coming there. Number 2, before now, you must work in a corporate office. Now you can work anywhere. You can even go on holiday and you're doing stuff. Why? Because you're connected to the net, because lots of the things you're doing are in the cloud. And as you're doing stuff, your colleague is seeing it. You are collaborating in real time, not minding where you are, so long as you get the job done. Before now, you use company equipment. Now you use any device. Remember, the most important thing now is output and not focus on input. I said to you, I teach students, and I teach here with my computer. Before now, I've got the whiteboard the university provides. I've got the marker pen, and that's how I teach. But now things have changed. I teach here using my own device. I don't need to stay in the office to do my marking. I mark here in my house. Before now, I need to be in the university 9 to 5. Now, so long as I get the job done. Sometimes I mark at midnight. The most important thing in a digital transformed world is the output and not the input. Before now, you need to start climbing one step at a time. Now you can create your own ladder, and that's exactly what it is. I was reading in the news, there's a physical education teacher before the lockdown. He's been teaching physical education here in the UK, I think in England. But when this lockdown came, he started doing exercise. And his YouTube page, students have just been following and doing exercises. And this guy has been able to raise about £200,000 for the NHS. And we've got Nike and I think it should be Adidas that is already chasing him with about £3.5 million contract to come be an ambassador. The question right now is this: he has just created his own ladder. And that's exactly what being digitally transformed can create. The job you do could be predefined before, now is customized. Before now, people hold information. Now you share information. You're struggling with a code, you go to GitHub, you go to Stack Overflow, you go on Google, you see stuff. No voice before. Now you can be the leader. Before, you see people rely on emails, attachment, and all that. Now you collaborate in the cloud in real time. This is exactly what we're talking about when we say digital transformation. That's the future. That is what is expected of us. Reiterating what I've said before, while physical skill is what they read. This is from the United States and this is Western Europe. Hours of work, this is it. 90 right now is by 2030, it will reduce by 11%. And you see what is coming up now. Technological skills is going to increase by 60% by this time. Cognitive skills, social and emotional skills. Even in Europe as well, technological skill is going to jump up to 52%. This is going to be 22, this is going to be 7. So it's not going to be what you can actually do with your physical hand. It's going to be a lot what you can do with your mind. It's not going to be a lot about what we do with our muscle, but what we do with our mind. How we can think logically, how we can make impact, how we can drive change, how we can improve operations. And what are the skills that we need? Skill number 1, critical thinking. Remember, I'm not emphasizing lots of computational coding, programming, C++, Java. That's not what I'm speaking about right now, because you can be digitally transformed and you don't even necessarily do lots of Java and C++, but you need to have a critical thinking ability to be able to conceptualize ideas, to synthesize information, to analyze data, and to be able to drive change, to make informed decisions, data-driven decisions, and not just out of experience or gut feelings, but you analyze the data and you make decisions out of it. Complex communication. In the world we are living in now, there are lots of information. Just look on the online, the number of people that are browsing is all forms of data that is coming. If you have a business, you should be able to know how to pass across information. You might be very skillful in coding. You need to be able to pass it across to non-technical stakeholders. It is important. I like to map critical thinking with creativity. You need to be creative. You need to be able to think critically. You need to be able to collaborate. Emotional intelligence, flexibility and adaptability is something we cannot do without in this digital transformed world. We don't go to class anymore. Students have been writing exams here in Aberdeen. My students have written exam, I've had to mark. They wrote the exam in their respective houses. We're connected via Zoom like this. Everybody, you have your video on, and the screen was split into the number of students. They were like 34, I think. So we split the screen into like 34, everybody with your video in your laptop. And I was watching, the other man was watching from his house. And that's exactly how the exam was taken. They finished the exam, they submitted online. I did the assessment and returned back to them. It is a digitally transformed world we're living in. You need to be flexible and you need to be adaptable to the new things that are coming. Now, my question is this. All of these skills we've talked about, have you got them in you? Have you started thinking, I'm doing business? Is it digital marketing? I'm doing business. Do I need a website? I'm doing business. Is it social media marketing? Do I collaborate? Digital literacy. Am I literate digitally? My ability to use these different tools. How is it with me? Creation, innovation, research, data. Can I make use of data? If you started having this question, that's exactly the essence of this presentation. We're going to have some short presentations and the live session is going to come with the digital experts, digital transformation experts, data scientists are coming to answer lots of questions that you might have. Before I leave, I would like to reiterate what Okpe has already said. Check us online, like our Facebook page, check us on Instagram, follow us for more updates, and I welcome you to our Digital Transformation Month. And I'm sure you're already going to get lots of things that will ignite the passion to be digitized in you today. I have no doubt about that. Okpe, you can take over the screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yakubu. Thank you so much. That was an amazing session. In fact, I picked a lot of things and I'm sure it has dropped in the minds of everyone too. So digital transformation affects individuals, not just corporations. And because it has affected the corporations, students and people who are seeking jobs, professionals who are seeking professional jobs, that's the new trend, and definitely it affects us as individuals. And digital transformation has no conscience. It's either you get innovated or you get extinct. Absolutely. And then there's the challenge of positioning yourself in this circumference. This is amazing. Thank you very much, Yakubu. It was great. We're already faced with the challenge of new talents, adapting our mindsets and collaboration. Thank you so much. That was great. And we'll also want to welcome all of you who have joined. We just finished our first session, Introduction to Digital Transformation, if you're just joining. And I want to thank those that are joining us here on Zoom, those joining on YouTube, those joining on Facebook. You are welcome. Of great note is Dr. Stella Maris. She's in the house. Our guest speaker is in the house. If you see Stella, she's right there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Stella, for coming. We appreciate you. We thank you, Dr. Amama. We also, of note, is Niyi Adebayo. Niyi Adebayo is a seasoned leadership trainer, and he's in charge of the leadership training programs for RCCG in the whole of UK. Niyi Adebayo, you are welcome. We recognize your presence. Thank you very much for coming. And every one of you coming and joining us too, we thank you. We appreciate your presence. We see you, and I hope you are getting digitally inspired. We're going to be continuing without any other delay into the demo. And the very first person who will be speaking to us is none other but Dr. Alade Udo. Dr. is an enthusiastic educator with a passion to inspire active learning. She's an experienced lecturer, skilled in teaching, research, public speaking, as well as coding, data visualization, and modeling in R. She obtained her PhD at the University of Aberdeen in Agric and Biosciences. Help me, join me, make welcome Dr. Alade. You have the floor, Mark.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all, and I'm very happy to be here. I also appreciate the organizers of the program. I appreciate the Glight ambassadors, and I appreciate my pastor, Engineer Dio Deboyo, for giving me this platform. So I'll just go right on to my presentation, and I'll just share my screen. Okay. Yeah. How is it over there? Yes. Is my screen fine? Okay. Thank you very much.
I see you very well. Everything is perfect.
Oh, great. So I'll be talking on, I've been introduced already. My name is Emem Udo, and I'll be talking on presentation skills in the digital age. When we talk about the digital age, it brings about so many, so many things. We have different platforms. We have different platforms for education, sharing, for collaboration. Some of us in the universities, we are using Blackboard, using Zoom, using different tools. We use our social media sites, and lots of communication, lots of information, and it's like the digital age is synonymous with the information age. Now, with all this platform comes so much opportunity. So we have the opportunity for innovation. We have the opportunity for leadership. We have the opportunity for communication. Using, like our last speaker spoke, it gives us a competitive edge. We have opportunity for advancements. We have opportunity to work remotely. We can generate revenue and income. So a lot of opportunity in the digital age. Now, the question is, are you visible in the digital space? The truth is that if you have used the internet for anything, if you have searched the web, if you have uploaded a CV online, you are actually visible. The footprint, you're leaving a digital footprint. But the issue is, are you visible deliberately? And are you visible for the right reasons? So we make lots of posts on Facebook, we comment, we use Snapchat, we post pictures, we do lots of stuff. So that makes us visible, but the question is, are you deliberate about your visibility? Sorry, please, excuse me, please. So the question is, are you deliberate about your visibility? For example, if you're on LinkedIn as a PhD student, do you have a picture on LinkedIn? What did you set as your profile? So that's a thought for you. Are you visible in the digital space? And what are the things you are putting out there? Many of us just post things. We just comment. And in the digital space, some people are not cautious. You just insult people you don't know, because we are just online. You don't know whether the person is a father, a mother, a president. Sometimes people talk anyhow. Now, those things, employers check your profile before they employ you. When you submit an application, they check you online. What footprints do you leave out there? So are you visible, and are you there for the right reason? Now, when we talk about the presentation skills, those are the skills that we need to develop effective and engaging presentations to a variety of audience. And these skills, it comes in various areas. It includes things like, how do we design our slides? It includes things like our body language, the tone of our voice. It includes our overall presentation as individuals. Now, the issue there is your presentation is the seed for your acceptance in any environment. So your presentation, whether physically or digitally, it's the seed for acceptance. Your presentation also decides how people's persuasion of you, and also decides your persuasive powers. Your presentation also shows how important. So you don't go for an interview in person wearing your pajamas and your slippers. Now, so also when you are in the digital space, you have a video interview, or you are going online, maybe for a church service, you are not going to appear online in your pajamas. The level of importance of an event shows, the way you present yourself shows the level of importance of that event. And it also shows honor. So if you're going before, if we have an invitation now, if I have an invitation to see the Queen of England, you know that I would have to put myself right. Also, the same thing on the digital space. So at the end of the day, perception is key. And the interesting thing is that many times perception might even be more important than your reality. You might be from a poor background. You might be from a socioeconomically challenged background. But as much as possible, you should not let your background influence your presentation. You can still look decent. There was a joke I saw online, and I said it was funny, but it was something like, it says, I beg bros, they dress well. Now poor, you poor. Now broke, you broke. No be mad, you mad. Now it sounds funny, but what we're trying to say is like, present yourself well. You are just broke, but you are not crazy. And I hope that God helps us as we go through this presentation, that we'll be able to get nuggets that will make our presentation skills up to date in the digital space. So when we talk about presentation, communication, there are several elements. Experts in communication, they can break it down to hundreds of elements or tens of elements or 4 or 5. But I'm going to look at this thing. I'm going to consider this presentation skills, looking at you as the person, looking at what's your message, that's your content, your message, what's your audience, how are you going to handle your environment, and also I would also, basically, how do we improve our skills in the digital space? So your person, because of the fact many of us are having, like for students, we're having lectures online, or like for teachers, we are teaching online now, or you have a course you're interested in hosting online, or you have a content, a video, or a speech, or you just want to do something. Your person is very important. How do you present yourself? Confidence is a key thing in the digital space. And there's something interesting about confidence. Sometimes you might be feeling nervous, you might not be feeling so confident, but do you know that the way your outside space, for example, your dressing, if you are to have an interview online, or you are defending your thesis virtually, as I did, because of COVID-19, my external examiner could not fly in, so we ended up having a virtual, I had a virtual thesis defense. Now, your confidence has to show. And one of the things that helps you to exude confidence is the way you present yourself, is your dressing, is your carriage, your poise. So you present yourself with poise, you don't slouch your shoulders are raised high, you feel your environment. You are not, crouched, but you're not crouched, but you spread yourself in your environment. So confidence, your competence. Do you know what you're talking about? So your competence is important, and that comes with studying your material, what you want to present, studying your material, knowing in depth, seeking help, learning. Don't just because, there is YouTube available, don't just go there and just rant. Try and, distill what you are going to talk about, and then speak with competence. Also, courtesy. You should be courteous. You should be respectful. As I said, in the digital space, there has to be courtesy. You have to speak respectfully. You have to, show respect. And interestingly, even if you are having a phone interview, for example, you have to smile when you speak, because when you smile, even over the phone, it shows. So you smile. when you speak. That is just a tip. Now I'll go to another thing you need to consider while presenting in the digital space is your audience. Who are you preparing for? Are you preparing materials for children? Are you preparing materials for students? What kind of students? High school students, university students? Are you preparing a report for your boss? Are you preparing to preach? What kind, who is your audience? Now, who is your primary audience? Who is your secondary audience? So for example, originally this program, we planned it for students amongst the persons organized by the Glight ambassadors, and which is the Deeper Life Campus Fellowship in Aberdeen. Now, our primary target was students in the higher institution, postgraduate, undergraduate, research, and possibly early career. But because of the COVID-19 situation and we put it online, our audience has actually expanded. So when you are putting out stuff on the digital space, you need to consider your audience. You also need to listen. For example, if you are having a thesis defense, you need to listen to the questions that are being relayed. So you need to listen. You can't do all the talking, or if you are in a meeting like this, you need to listen. Or if you are the one leading, you also need to listen to your audience, and that can come maybe in the form of comments, that can come in the form of feedback, or maybe you give a questionnaire. So you need to listen and you need to use the feedback. And when you consider your audience, one thing you will find out is that you have to mind your language. There's some language you cannot use if you're making a content for children. So there are age-appropriate content. There are some languages you do not use if you're in a certain environment, because that language is exclusive or pejorative. So you would have to consider your language so that you are not guilty of being pejorative or being discriminative or not being inclusive. So one of the things you consider based on your audience. Then another thing is your content, your message. What is the focus? Your message, your content must have a focus. I know that sometimes when one is starting out, maybe you have an Instagram page, you might just want to do it personal or that, but when you want to have a deliberate, a deliberate identity on the digital space, you must have a focus. So if you have a blog, for example, you are writing, can you say something that I am so, and my blog is about, can you put it in one word or few words? Or you have a vlog, like somebody will say, oh, I am this person and my vlog is about lifestyle, or my vlog is about family, or my vlog is about travel. So your content, your message, there has to be a focus. Then your message has to be clear, clarity. You don't just ramble on and on, no, your message has to be clear. So part of your presentation skills in the digital space is being able to distill your message, to bring out what is the juice, what is the meat of your message. Then being concise. So if you can say something in 3 words, there's no need to use 10 words. And on the digital space, people are streaming, people are using data, people are considering their time. So try as much as possible to condense what you have to say. There is a popular comedian in Nigeria, a young lady. She's very popular. Her videos do not exceed 1 minute, but she passes so much message. There is so much humor, and she even advertises products in 1 minute. She's able to put out a concise message. So that is it. And one of the things that can help us to make our messages concise is to use pictures, images. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And I just want to say that when you are using pictures or symbols, be sensitive in the kind of pictures you use, the kind of symbol. What is the message behind it? Well, I recently, someone posted something, somebody was celebrating an anniversary, and someone posted a happy anniversary, this thing, with love, but it was the picture of bees making a beehive in the shape of love. Now, the person may not have a bad decision, but for me, maybe I'm like, I want to appreciate this. Are you saying that B is my marriage or my relationship to have sting, B stings or what? You know, B is sting. I don't know, but just be sensitive about the kind of things you use to represent what you want to say, because symbols can have several meanings. Now, your media. These are some of the general components in any communication. What's the media you're going to use? So are you going to use your laptop? Are you going to use your phone? You have to set it up before your presentation. For example, if you are using your phone to record a video, or you're using your phone to maybe to have a session like this and you're presenting on phone, it would be best to have your phone on a landscape and make sure your head is not too down, your head is not too up, your head is, you are in the center. Not only that, you have to make sure that your equipment, you test them. Are they working? Though it will be advisable if you're using a laptop, for example, to make sure that your laptop is connected to power and you are not using the battery. Or if you're using the battery, is the battery life sufficient? You have to test your equipment. Are they working as they are supposed to be working? And you have to have a trial run of your process. So you can have, you can stream and then check, is it the quality? So have a trial run, have a test run of the processes you want to do. So for example, like this meeting that we had, before we started, we had a trial run where we tested our slides. If it was going to be tested, our sound, we looked at the host and all that. So that's an example of, testing your media. Then you have to also consider your environment. Make sure your environment is distraction-free. So when you look at your environment, you want to make sure there is no noise. I know it's not easy in this time, people are working from home. There have been so many funny videos. You see children, somebody is presenting the news and the child runs in and the mother is trying to pull the child, from the room. But you have to try and make sure that as much as possible, you limit distraction. If you need to put your phone on silent so that your phone does not ring when you're having a meeting with your interview, with your supervisor, or you're having a job interview online, if you need to do that, please do. Just make your environment tidy too. You don't want underwears hanging behind you. And if, for example, you have a tidy background, but you have a mirror behind your background, don't forget your mirror is going to reflect what is in front. So if things are scattered, it's going to show. So you want to make sure that your environment is tidy. And your lighting, as much as possible, let your lights come in front. Don't let your source of light come from behind you, because you'll find that you might have a bright source of light behind you, but your face is dark, or there is a glare at your audience, or the person viewing it sees a glare. So you try to keep in touch with that. And when you're looking at all those things about your environment, you look at your background, your dressing, those are important things to consider. And if you're going to present in the digital space, in the digital age, another thing you really need to be mindful of is your security, your personal data. What are you putting out there? The internet does not forgive. You may delete it, but it does not forgive. There have been cases of politicians, for example, in the US, who have posted something a long, long while, and yet when it was time for them to step up to the plate, people bring those things. They've deleted it from their profile on Twitter. Twitter, especially where we are able to talk very fast. Please think before you post. Don't just write in your anger. At times when your emotions are strong, just come back and control it and don't write at that time. Then consider your privacy. Consider your use of passwords. Use strong passwords. Strong passwords with alphanumeric symbols and so on. Don't use your birthday. Don't use your father's name. Those things that people can easily, hack. You use your wife's name, or you use your matric number in school. Those common things that, so be careful, and then try to protect your content. There's a lot of intellectual theft online. You see people posting things, they just say copied from who? So please protect your content. don't be, if you know you're going to the digital space, especially if you're going to like do a business, invest in your protecting your content, but on a small scale, encryption, password, limiting accessibility, and all manner of stuff, maybe watermarking your work, making sure you're branding everything you have. So those are important things to consider. Now, how do we develop these skills? I've said a lot of things, but how do we develop it? One way to do this is you need to listen to others. You need to listen to other people present. You need to watch TED Talks, watch presentations, look at how people do their courses online, whatever you want to go into, see how are other people doing it. So listen to, especially the experts, the gurus in the field. Then you need to practice. Practice, practice, practice. You learn driving by driving. You learn speaking by speaking. You learn presentation by presenting. So you practice. Then a very good way to improve your presentation skills is to volunteer. Volunteer in a group, you know, in school, for those of us that are students, when they ask for group leaders, please don't shy behind. Be the group leader. So volunteer. Also coaching. You can take courses online. Participate. There are things like Toastmasters, those are the organizations and so on. So do everything, be open-minded, be willing to learn, and more importantly, have fun. You know, don't be afraid. I can give you an example. In my local church here, we have the choir, virtual choir, and I was kind of scared because of the video recording and all that. But you find out the more you do it, the more you get better. So just have fun learning. And beyond everything, remember that you have a voice. You have something to offer to this generation. So use it. Use your voice. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. MM. That was an amazing session. Thank you very much, Dr. MM. And don't forget, everyone, you have a voice, use it. And are you visible? And if you're visible, what are people seeing? What are they seeing? What visibility are you putting out there? So these are important things we need to take note of. It's interesting to note that your employers actually go online to check your profile. So you are visible. And if you're not visible, if you're visible, what are people saying? So these are important questions we need to put in mind. Thank you very much, Dr. MM. We want to appreciate all those and welcome you very warmly, all those who have been joining. And I just want to enjoin you that if you're actually logging in with your device like Techno F1 and so many other devices, Huawei P20 Lite, it would be nice if you can actually rename your device. You are welcome. Kindly rename your device so we can introduce you and address you properly. We want to appreciate very specially the presence of Mrs. Funke Adeshola. She's a seasoned nutritionist and an online marketer, and she's joining us all the way from South Africa. You're welcome, ma. We also want to welcome Olawekbo, Chinedu, Dr. Umar. We want to welcome Lawrence and other ICT coordinators in the UK. You are very welcome. We see you. You are welcome. We recognize your presence. We also want to welcome Dr. Udeme. Dr. Udeme is a seasoned ICT specialist and he's a lecturer at the University of Coventry here in the UK. Dr. Udeme, you are very welcome. We want to thank all those joining us on YouTube and Facebook. We see you, we recognize your presence. You are very welcome. And very, very quickly, I want to join our speakers. They have so much and they just want to inspire us. They just want to get, it's just like we should just finish the program now. Everybody just begin to change everything to digital. We thank you very much for your passion, but I want to please beg us, you know, we are still going to the live session and we have our experts in the house, Dr. Stella Maris. She has a PhD in AI. Wow. And we also have a digital transformation expert, Toby Kasali. We have our own very father, our digital pastor, engineer Dayo Adebayo. Pastor, you're getting there. So we welcome you, we thank you, and I hope you are writing your questions, you're having your questions down because we have competent hands to answer. And I want to join our other speakers. Please just stick to time. We are not doing very well with time, so please just stick to time. And when the question comes in, if the question is actually addressed to your own session, we will give you the opportunity to answer. So thank you very much as we go to the very next presentation, and that is Priscilla Balogo. She's going to be talking to us on digital business strategy. Digital business strategy. Join me to welcome Priscilla Balogun. Priscilla Balogun has been an entrepreneur for the past 3 years. She studied botany, that's plant science, up to master's level. She's into online marketing and currently works with Amazon FBA. She is passionate about helping others launch their business successfully by leveraging digital technologies. Little wonder she is here to teach us the best doable strategies to launch our business successfully digitally. Priscilla, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Digital Transformation. I'll be your host for the next 15 minutes. Hopefully, I'll keep the time, but everything I have to share today is definitely not a 15-minute talk. So you will do me a favor by sticking with me. I might be too fast, a bit too slow, but just stay with me. I'll try as much as possible to summarize everything I have to say here. If you wouldn't mind, I would like this to be a bit more practical. If you can see me, I'll be sharing my screen just now. If you can see me, if you can hear me clearly, and you can see my screen, please type in the number 7 in the chat box. Number 7, please, if you can see my screen. And if you can
yes, we already have lots of number 7s rolling in, so everybody can see you loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it's not going back. Okay, so we'll be talking about digital business strategy today, and you can see the emphasis is on digital, because we're not talking about you going out to rent a shop and looking for someone to paint the shop and decorate it for you and start buying products and stacking them in shelves. That's not what we're talking about today. Most of those shops right now, they're going online, and well, today's talk is more about how you can start your business from the comfort of your home, just with a working laptop connected to the internet and a working brain, not the one woken up with a cup of coffee anyway. So digital business strategy. If you're talking about business today, it's either you're offering a service or you're offering a product. Okay, be it a digital product, it might just be a course, it's still a product, a digital product, it might be a physical product. They're all products, okay? And there are different platforms where you can display or display this product that gets known, okay? You have places like Fiverr or Upwork, okay? There you can if you have services, especially, you can create logo for people. I saw a very funny one on Fiverr, someone who dressed like a clown, and he said, I'm going to sing a happy birthday song for your friends. Just give me their picture, $5. I mean, that's a business strategy. That's a service that's been offered, okay? And there are other platforms like Digistore24. You can market other people's digital products. Okay, you can also make your own digital product and advertise it there. Other people will market it for you. So that's also a type of business. There's Shopify. You can sell your physical products as well as a blog, make your blog on Shopify as well. Then we have selling on Amazon, which is where I'll be concentrating on today, and also on eBay. eBay may not be open to many countries, but yes, it's one of the platforms where you can also sell your products. Okay. And today, I would like to break down our discussion today into 3 areas. First of all, we want to be able to choose right. So I'll give you details on how you can choose right. Also, how you can analyze whatever, analyze the choice of products you have made using digital technologies, okay? And also the best way to strategically implement your strategically launch your product. Yes, let me put it that way. All right. So first of all, let's get into what do you need to be able to make the perfect choice? Let's get down the rabbit hole here. First of all, I would say you should make sure whatever product you are selling should have at least a 20% profit margin. Rule of thumb, whenever you're going into any product, make sure your selling price, okay, is at least 3 times your cost price. If not, it's going to be difficult for you to get a healthy profit margin. The reason is because there are other expenses aside from product costs. Okay, your logo, you have to calculate your price. You have to calculate the price of private labeling. You have to calculate the price of marketing as well. So that's why, rule of thumb, make sure you have your selling price at least, it can be more, okay, but then it should be at least 3 times your cost price. Next, your bestseller rank. If you look, I would have shown you the Amazon platform, okay, but because of time, I won't go in there now. But make sure your bestseller rank is between 500 and 5,000. I'll show you where you can find that. Next, your price. The sweet spot, if you look at many products that are being sold and people are profiting from it, the price ranges between $20 and $50. It doesn't matter what your currency is, okay? If you're selling in Naira, convert it to Naira. If you're selling in dollars, this is the price range. If you're selling in pounds, convert it to pounds. If you're selling in yen, convert it to that, okay? This is the price range. And then it's also important for your sales per month to be above 500 units. They'll ask me, how am I going to know if I'm going to sell this pen today? How will I know if you sell 500 units in a month? How will I know? I'll show you today. Okay, stick with me. Your reviews. Well, if you look at on Amazon, when you want to buy something on Amazon, what do? You look at the price, you look at the pictures, and then you go down to the reviews and hear what people who have bought this product have to say about the product, okay? So that's more, it convinces you more to buy, okay? So if you are now going to sell on this kind of platform, then you know you'll be competing with people. If they have reviews greater than 500, then the competition will be really, really high for you to convince people about your product, okay? Next, make sure the search volume for that particular product is between 3,000 and 5,000. That's the number of times that word is being searched for. For example, if I'm going to sell a fitness tracker, okay, I'm going to sell a fitness tracker. How many times is fitness tracker being searched on Amazon? If it is between the range of 3,000 and 5,000, okay, then I think I'm making the right choice to sell this product, okay? Now, another criteria is to look at the listing quality. Listing is just, you know, when you go on the platform, you read the content. Okay, it has 2 straps. I can see red, blue. Oh, it does this. This is the features and stuff like that. Okay, that's what you call listing. So let's continue. Digital analysis. I'll show you the tools that you can use to work and then get all this information for you to make the right product. First, you will need Jungle Scout. Don't be alarmed by the name. You just go to junglescout.com and register with them. You'll be able to use this software. Next, Merchant Words. Number 3, Google Trends. These 3, there are many others, okay? It's not only Jungle Scout, it's not only Jungle Scout application you can use to find this information, okay? There is Helium 10, there is Unicorn Smasher, there is Viral Launch. There's so many of them out there, okay? It's just that I am used to this one and I can talk about it, okay? This is Jungle Scout, okay? Now, once you search for your product, maybe I type fitness tracker or I type yoga mat or I type just anything, okay? And then this application is going to give me the exact details of what I'm looking for, what we just discussed. Look at this bestseller rank. Just a second, I'm just going to use my pointer here so that you can see it really, really clearly. Bestseller rank, we said it should be between 500 and 5,000, okay? Now, show me, can you see where bestseller rank is here? Look at it, average sales rank, that's it here, 3,759, okay? It means it falls within our criteria. So yes, I can go with this It's not, this is not the only option, but yes, I tick yes for this. Okay. Next, selling price. Is it between £20 and $50? Yes, this is the price. Generally, this is the average price, is $30. So yes, even if I find these products on maybe Alibaba or anywhere here in the UK, I find it for $2. Yes, it does sell between here and here. It means I have a really large profit margin. Okay. Now, the average sales per month, is it greater than 500 units? Yes, right here. 4,618 of this product is being sold every single month. Okay. Now, like I said, this is not the only application that can give you this result. Viral launch, use any other one, but make sure you are looking for this, all of this information. Okay. Now, the reviews, we want it to be less than 500. The reason we are saying this is if the reviews is less than 500, you'll be able to compete. If it's more than 500, it will take you more time, okay, for you to convince other people about your product. Now, look at the number here. It says 1,353, okay, and that's way, 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 way too high. Okay. Yes, there's high demand, it sells well. Yes, the sales rank is within our limit. Yes, the price, fine. The reviews is way too high. You're going to really, really find it hard to compete here. Now, let's look at the listing. We say we want it to be less than 5 out of 10. This is where you have that information. Come to the extreme right. If you're following me, you will see me circling the extreme right hand corner. So that's listing quality. Okay. Now we have a 5, we have a 6, we have a 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. It means the listings on all of these sellers' products, okay, is very perfect. It's clear. Okay. So now, having considered all of this information, come to the right-hand corner, you see that the summary, the opportunity score here. Personally, I wouldn't go for this product because fine, it has a high demand, but then it has a high competition. It will be difficult for me to get into this market space. Okay. So here I'm just showing you how Jungle Scout works. It's a tool, it's a digital tool, which you can use to analyze the products you want to sell. All right. Now let's go to the next slide. I'll show you how to use merchant words. Merchant word will give you the search volume, total search volume. Okay, here we have 29,600. It means this is the number of times this product is being searched for on Amazon. Okay, with this information, if it falls within this range, yes, we're happy to go with this product. Next, Google Trend. Now, look at this product. Like I was talking about the fitness tracker. I already searched the term fitness tracker on Google Trend. Okay, I wouldn't want to change my screen now to go on to show you physically because we don't even have the time. But just stick with me here. You can check all of this online by yourself. Let that be your homework. Okay. Interest over time. This is 2016. Of course, this is, I set it to past 5 years. How many times or how much is this product being requested over the past? How many times is it being, not how many times, but how often is it being searched through the past 5 years up till now? Okay, you can see that it's never down to zero. Okay, it's never down to zero. It's up maybe 50, 75%, 100%. You know, it's going up and down, going up and down. It means it is quite a steady demand over the years. Okay, now you cannot compare it to this, my fine, beautiful product that was in vogue a few years ago. That's in between 2016 2017. Maybe you are familiar with this product, the fidget spinner. When I went on Google Trends to search on how often this is being demanded, oh, it's a no, no, no. This came up just between 2016 and 2017, and then there's no history of it. Many sellers who sold at this point, yes, they made some gain, but after that, there was no more demand. It came down to zero completely. This is why you need this tool. If you're going to go, sell a particular product, come on, check on Google Trend and see how often, how many people are interested in this, how many people want to buy this. Okay, that's very good information for you to make a strategic choice. Okay, now let's go into implementation. You need to choose your niche. How do you implement it? Choose your niche, know the audience, know which audience you need. Okay, are they youth? Are they ladies? Is it women between 25 and 45? This product, who does it fit the most? Is it kids? Is it just know your demographic? Okay, then branding. Branding is quite important, but some people who go into maybe drop shipping, they're not interested in branding. It's still okay, but then you want to create a brand. You want people to trust your brand. You don't just go online and just sell anything. Okay, so when you create a brand, people trust you more. Okay, excuse me. Sourcing your product, there are so many different places to source your product. First of all, I will recommend uh, going on Google first before Alibaba. Don't just jump into Alibaba. Okay, then go on to healthcare. Go on to choosing your niche and audience where you can find them. I'm just trying to break those options down. We don't have much time anymore. Let's assume I'm interested in healthcare and I want to sell a product in that area. I won't say, oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I'm just going to sell all kinds of equipment. You won't be seen because there's so many in the space at the moment. So how are you going to do it? Niche down. What do we mean by niching down? Go maybe a step further. When you talk about health, there's so many aspects of health. There is the physical, there is the mind, body, and soul. Okay, let's assume I'm interested in body. I won't just say, okay, hi, this is a company that deals with body. No, you won't be seen either. I want to talk about one part of the body. I'm interested, I'm a guru, I'm a master at feet. When it comes to taking care of the feet, I can do a bath soak. I know how to massage your feet. I know what to do to make your feet healthy. You will never have an ingrown toenail. You will never have to cut off the flesh around, those growth that happen. So I'm a guru. I know how to do that. Niche down a bit more. I don't want to do only toenails, only feet. I want to go into toes and toenails. Okay, so learn to niche down. Don't just talk about the whole body. Take one aspect of the body. Okay. Choose your niche, where to find them, and start pouring content. Social media is really, really, really vast. And it's not only Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. You have even email. Okay, there are so many of these social media platforms. I'm not even on some of them. Snapchat, for example, I don't know. I don't even have an account with Snapchat, so I don't. So many people are there. If the youth, maybe between 13 and 17, they use Snapchat a lot. Make sure you are selling your product. You want to sell your product to them, make sure you are in Snapchat because that's where your demographic is. Then another thing, when it comes to pouring content, don't just say, okay, I'm just going to open a social media and target toenail. I'm going to be selling nail polish, for example. You need to talk about so many things, like put content that people will like. And it could be very difficult when you the next time, what am I going to post? What am I going to post? The best way is for you to have a social media content bucket where you have a list of the things you're going to post every week. Look at the social media. Okay, the people, my audience, they come online between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Then that is exact time I'm going to post. You can do a scheduled post. Make a list of content you want to post and then schedule it. You can schedule it for over the next 3 to 4 months. Okay, you can do that. You can use their different apps and software you can use for that. Okay. Next, when it comes to branding, sourcing of product, we've talked about Google, we've talked about Alibaba, there are many others, but first of all, make sure you are using Google in your area. Assuming you want to sell a nail polish, for example, you type in nail polish private label Nigeria or nail polish private label UK or nail polish private label USA. Wherever you are, use Google to search for your manufacturer in your country first. If you don't find, then you can go out, go over to Alibaba. I'm saying this because if you're going to be interested in maybe skincare or cosmetic products, or you're interested in food, things that people eat, you don't want to go to Alibaba first. It's not as, because you can't guarantee the kind of product you see. And then rule of thumb, make sure you get sample copies of your product before you sell them. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm interested," that you buy 1,000 units and say you might buy 1,000 units and they are all not good, or they are all not up to standard. So that's very important. And then you prepare to launch your product. First of all, I'll say hype your product. Like the people you have gathered on your social media, talk to them. I'll be launching in the next 10 days. Then count down. 9 days, 8 days to go, 7 days, 6 days to go, 5 days. You know, everyone is anticipating the launch of this product. Okay, make your social media followers happy. Okay, make them interested in buying your product. Make them see the value you are giving to them. So I think with all of this information, you should be ready to launch your first product. And I wish you all the best in it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Priscilla. That was amazing. Thank you. Wow. I really enjoyed this presentation. Thank you, Digital Business Strategy. So we've been charged to choose rightly, analyze and implement, and stay within your demographic. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. We are not doing very well with time, and I'm really concerned about our audience. It's beautiful, it's interesting, it's amazing, and I know everybody is glued to it. But okay, we're going to have a short poll. Now we're supposed to do we're supposed to go into our live session, our live discussion that was supposed to be by 1:45. So if you want us to go straight to the live session, if you're trying to convince me that you've gathered enough questions that you can actually ask our expert, just type yes, let's go to the live session. But if you still want to listen to data analytics, introduction to data analytics and machine learning using Python, just say no. Let's continue with the demo. So yes for live session, no for let's continue with the demo. Okay, so I have lots of no's rolling in. Okay, no. Okay, forgive me. So I want to beg, I want to plead with our panelists, Dr. Amama and Toby Kasali and Engineer Adebayo. Please just bear with us. People really want to gather. They want to come strong for you. So thank you very much. Please bear with us. And so we're going to be moving straight to introduction to data analytics. And this session is going to be taken jointly by Mr. Emmanuel Eke and Mr. Ojotule Onoja. So we're having Emmanuel Eke and Ojotule Onoja. So we're going to be starting with Emmanuel Eke, and we are in very competent hands because Emmanuel Eke is an innovative individual with keen interest in data analytics and optimization of petroleum engineering processes using IT tools and techniques. He is currently a PhD researcher at the Robert Gordon University. Join me, make welcome Emmanuel Eke. Emmanuel Eke, you have the floor.
Thank you for the opportunity, and that was a very nice introduction. This presentation is mostly from my friend and brother, Dr. Onoja, but being that we decided to collaborate on it from the introduction part. So my aim in the next few minutes would just be to get the audience to become interested in data analytics. There are too many people who think data analytics is something for geniuses or engineers or IT people. But in reality, the world we are heading into now wouldn't ask you your background before it asks you if you have experience of data analytics. So I implore us all to look at this as something that would affect us sooner than later, okay? So having said that, let's delve into this. I'll just do a bit of an intro and Dr. Bronoja will take it on from there. Data analytics. Who has an idea of how much data is in the world? Have you ever thought about it? Well, if this was a stage, I would have taken guesses. But I doubt that anybody here would have been able to guess that we have at least 18 zettabytes of data by 2018. Now, just to provide context, one of the most popular measurements of data we have is the gigabytes. A single zettabyte is 1 billion gigabytes. Think about how big that is, 1 billion gigabytes. That's how much data the world had in 2018. And it's even more mind-blowing when you imagine that it is projected to increase at 9 times every 5 years. So only God knows how much is there in 2021. And you can imagine also what COVID-19 has done to the amount of data out there. You know, so data is growing, data is growing, data is growing. The question is, what do we want to do with data? But even before that, just to provide context, when I say data for this presentation, I'm speaking of descriptive information that is in a digital format. For example, number of cases of COVID-19, heights of everybody on this phone call, number of computers that are connected to this, just descriptive information in a digital format. What do we want to do with data? We want to understand data. If I give you a list of 20 heights, you know, you want to understand it. If possible, you want to analyze, you want to visualize, you want to communicate data, okay? But the big question is, how do you go about all this? How do I get the capabilities needed to use data, okay? And that's where data analytics comes in. What is data analytics? When we say data analytics, we're just discussing everything you can do to data in order to get value out of it, okay? Our aim is to discover useful information from a given data set, okay? But you have to do this through different techniques. You have to collect this data, organize, you have to analyze it and all. By way of classifying the possible things you could do to data, okay, there are 4 main types of data analytics, or will I say forms of data analytics. And the first is descriptive data analytics, where you're looking at data, you're looking at information, but the kind of analysis you're doing on that information is such as to be able to explain it. What is this? Okay, for example, if I give like a height of, if I give you 10 heights, for example, one of the ways of using data analytics to describe that data set, maybe you can present the average height from there. So we know that that average height sort of describes all the data sets. So that's descriptive analysis, where you're explaining what is this. You can take it a step deeper, diagnostic data analytics. And this is when you're asking the question of what caused this, okay? For example, if you check causality analysis, where you're looking at the trigger for an outcome, okay? So for example, if this car brake failed at 10 meters per second speed, could it be that when the speed starts nearing 9.5, we should start slowing down? How do you decide why what happened? That's diagnostic data analytics. There's also the prescriptive one, where you look into data, but with the mindset of finding solutions. Okay, so that's also another aspect, like what can be done. You look at data, you analyze it, but you're looking for information that will help you prescribe a solution. And then I think the most popular of all the data analytics forms is predictive data analytics, because everybody wants to make intelligent calculations. Everybody wants to make intelligent predictions. You want to take valid decisions for the future, but through predictive analytics, you can then look at existing data and sort of extend it into the future to prescribe what you believe is still coming up, to predict what you believe is still coming up. I believe much of the machine learning applications we have at the moment are tailored towards predictive analytics, because that is where much value is. You want to be able to predict before it happens, okay? Having gotten that background of data analytics, I'll quickly dive into why, what can data analytics give to you? I choose to explain data analytics with this term, simply listening to data. You want to see what data is saying. You want to investigate data, see what information you can get from it. And what can you do with that information? Information from data analytics can help you answer a question. Okay, for example, we can ask, as I said earlier, if you have a list of, for example, speeds, okay, at which car brakes failed, for example, then you want to then answer the question of what is a safe speed limit. If you can express that data, okay, do some analysis on that data and sort of show at what speed limit that brake fails, then you have then been able to answer the question of what is a safe speed limit. That's a value. Okay, but you cannot get this from just the data. You need to analyze it, and this is where data analytics comes in. Furthermore, it helps you to make decisions. Data analytics is at the center of business today. I'm sure most of us are involved in business, one form of business intelligence or the other. Sister M spoke earlier about how or Sister Priscilla spoke earlier about how you need to know who your customers are, know the right time they come online and all that. You can't make those decisions if you don't have data. There's a reason so much work goes into collecting all that data. It's because through it, you can actually receive the information that can help you make the decision of when best to do something or when best not to do something. Furthermore, data analytics can help you discover patterns in data, okay? And it can help you communicate a story, hypothesize, abstract. I don't want to dwell too much on all this, but the basic thing I'm saying is data analytics is key to efficiency. You need to know what the information, the data set you have already is telling you, and that will help you put you in a better place. And just to demonstrate the value of data analytics, I will compare two incidents that have happened in the last 3 decades, and it has to do with space mission. There was the Falcon 9 space rocket that was meant to be launched just last Wednesday. But the data and information and all, they got the information they had from all the data collected was that the weather conditions was not safe for that rocket launch, and they had to postpone it. I think it's this afternoon that Falcon 9 will leave the Earth, okay? But that was postponed. You ask yourself the question of, oh, what if they did not postpone it? What if they were just being too paranoid? What if we can afford to live our lives without some form of data analytics? What if all of this can be done without actually spending time to see what supporting data is saying? I'll tell you, there was a time space explorers also failed to listen to data, and that was in 1986. The Challenger, you can look it up online for the fuller story, but all in all, the engineer said the data, okay, looking at the trends in the data from his data analytics operation, he had realized that the condition was too cold for that rocket to be taken off. This was 1986. But these executives and government officials and all, NASA, the space agency, they decided this is not convincing enough. We're just going to go on and launch this rocket. Well, I'm sure some of you would have been able to guess what happened, but
it was a bitter cold but sparkling clear morning at Cape Canaveral. Here, the last seconds of the countdown.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
All the communications between the shuttle and mission control indicated everything was going fine. There was a sense of relief that the much-delayed flight was finally underway.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%. Challenger, go at throttle up.
It happened just over 1 minute into flight.
1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
From mission control, silence. Then the bland, chilling report.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
Well, that was quite a tragedy, but that singular act of disobeying what information available data was suggesting cost NASA the lives of 7 astronauts, cost billions of dollars that was spent on that, and everybody died on that. Well, this could be your business, this could be the research you're doing, this could be anything, but you need to know what data is saying to you. You need to take out time to analyze data, to find information that will guide your decision, or else it might be your money that goes into flames, just like that rocket went into flames. I believe that drives home the value of data analytics. But now that we are at that point, I will just wrap up by saying there are tools that will help you undertake data analytics. Maybe because of this presentation, somebody decides to begin to have more appreciation, participate more in this data analytics space. I highly suggest you begin with this first tool listed here, R and Python. They are free, you can get them online. There's also RapidMiner, Excel, and the rest, but most of the ones are a bit lower down that table. You have to pay tokens for them. But yeah, R and Python. Excel is in most computers as well. What do you do with your Excel? It seems basic, but data analytics starts from Excel even. Okay, so with all these tools, I think it's a starting point to delve into the world of data analytics. Before I hand over to Brother Onoja, I want to leave us all with a parting word. I'm sure some people would ask the question of, does the Bible support data analytics? Has anybody ever thought of that? Well, I'll answer that with a quotation from the Bible in Proverbs 25, verse 2. The wise King Solomon said, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it is the honor of kings to search out the matter." Friends, search out matters. Use data analytics tools. Thank you.
Interesting. It's interesting to know that data analytics is biblical. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. I couldn't have had a better introduction to data analytics. I think I'm part of those who feel data analytics is for geniuses, but digital transformation is here to stay. So do we have a choice? Thank you very much. That was interesting. I see you. Blessing is someone who is doing data analysis from Excel. So she's super excited and thanking you. We thank you so much. And you have really made data analytics sound so simple. I hope it's as simple as that. Thank you very much. It was an interesting session. I want to particularly welcome Okpe Richard from Canada. She's watching us from Facebook. You're welcome. I want to welcome Mike Ojabo, Anna, Ruth, Sonny Oloya, Ola, Your Day on Facebook, all from Nigeria. We are excited to have you in our midst. Thank you very much. Shortly before Onoja takes over, I want to share with you who Onoja is. So Ojotule Onoja is a seasoned chemical reaction engineer with specialists in GTL technologies, and natural gas utilization and process intensification. He also has expertise in data analysis, graphic design, and project manager. He has served as an academic software manager, consultant, lectured in Nigeria, and is currently pursuing a PhD at the University of Aberdeen. He's almost rounding up. Help me, join me, welcome Ojotule Onoja as he takes over the floor. You're welcome, Onoja.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Emmanuel, for starting the conversation. So I'll just take it from where he left it. Can you see my screen?
I can see it.
Okay. So Emmanuel has talked about the importance of data. So I'll just take it off from where he left off. So let's look at a scenario. This is a plant operator. This is a daily activity in the refineries or any offshore platform. You have a guy working at the production plant, and you have another one in the control room and these two guys communicate to themselves. Now, the essence of this communication is for them to make sure that at every point in time there is safe, the operation is going on safely, and at the same time they are meeting the production targets. So when the man in the control room looks at this chart before him, which is what analytics can help us see, he sent a signal to the man in the plant telling him either to open a valve or increase the speed of a pump for some of the systems that may not be automatic. So the whole essence of this is to make sure that what we are feeding into our system has zero error. So this man in the control room keep an eye on all these charts, and when he recognizes the pattern that is acceptable, the pattern that is close to the reference standard, he tells this guy in the control room to continue. But when he recognizes any deviation from normal operation, he tells this guy in the control room to either open a valve or close a pump. So let's see what can go wrong in this kind of scenario. Now, I just made a very small bow tie representation. You don't need to know much about this. It's not even a difficult thing to know. So we don't want runaway reaction to happen. You can think about that like an explosion in the plant. So this is what we're trying to avoid. And we also need to have maximum productivity. And to avoid this explosion from happening, we have, some barriers in form of coolant. We use coolant in case the temperature is too high. You need to add a fluid coolant, and we also expect the operator in the plant to always respond to high temperature alarms to make sure he makes the right action. And again, if I'm just considering a case of a combustible reaction, for instance, when methane and oxygen is reacting, you have to keep an eye on the ratio of methane to oxygen. So for instance, if the flow rate
Hello? Can you hear me? That is.
We can hear you, but I think there's
it appears
yes, they are having connection issues there.
Do you want us, what do you think? Do you want us to just move to the next right now?
Okay, yes, I think we lost them, and I'll just communicate him, and I think he will come up after the next presentation. We're sorry about that, for the part of the challenges. We hope it gets better as we digitally transform. Okay, we have Sule, are you back? Okay. We have met Yakubu Balogun before, and we'll just be going straight to the very next session, and it's going to be taken by him. When he's done, Ojotule will come back to finish the bow tie representation he was talking to us about. So join me, make welcome Yakubu Balogun again to carry us through machine learning using Python. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's me again. I'll be very, very brief this time. I mean, it's a promise. I'll be very, very brief. Now, what do I want to talk about right now? Is a use case. I just want to talk about machine learning, and I'll be representing a use case right now very quickly. Emmanuel has said a lot. Okpa, it appears 2 days back. Do you want me to hand over the screen to him?
Okay. Yes, okay. I think we should just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share your screen. Share your screen.
Hello.
Yes, we have you back. Welcome back. We
Oh,
lost you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening. Sorry, so what I'm saying is we can use those data to, predict or to analyze the safety performance of the plant over period of time. Like if we have a scenario where like if you look at the year 2018, we have a very small number, a very lower number of times the operator has to respond to alarm and also adjust the cooling temperature and also the combustible ratio. So the management of that plant will look at this year, 2018, what did we do right here? And look at 2019, how did we get to this point where we have a lot of high numbers. So these are the kind of things we can get from data analytics. Now, I'll just try to illustrate something which everyone can understand. If you look at the next slide I'm going to share, is just, hello?
Stop sharing link here. Share your.
Okay, so if you look at, okay, let me just go to Excel. I have a problem with my slide coming up when I want it to come up. Now, we've been talking about the coronavirus and let's see what we can get from, and information we can get from this coronavirus of a thing. If you look at the NDDC website, let's say, for instance, you are expected to make an analysis of the coronavirus cases in Nigeria. This is what NDDC is doing on their website. You just go and you see what they call the dashboard, showing different charts representing different scenarios, and at a glance you can just see the summary of the number of cases, number of deaths, and all these things. And you want to replicate this in Microsoft Excel, just like Emmanuel told us, there are many tools for data analytics, but you can use Excel for descriptive analytics where you don't need to predict much. So you can easily set up something like this, and which is highly dynamic. For instance, if I want to know what NDDC is showing on their website has to do with the number of states. What if I want to make an analysis based on the number of geopolitical region? So I've set this up by using pivot table and pivot chart. So I may not go through that because of time. But you can see from my analysis that you can actually compare at any given time, any geopolitical region. For instance, if I want to say, how is the Southwest doing? And I click on the Southwest, immediately you can see from this chart that Lagos has the highest number of cases compared to other states. And you can also make some other analysis like that. And what if I say, okay, I want to see how the Southwest is doing in comparison with the Northwest. I click on the Northwest, you can see that Lagos and Kano State are having the highest number of cases. Now, we can use this to just make a case for instance, the healthcare system in Nigeria. If you want to say, okay, you want to make a case why the healthcare sector in the Northwest region, should be, why more resources should be channeled to the healthcare sector in the Northwest region, or what Lagos is doing differently that can be transferred to all these other states. So you can use this kind of thing to make this kind of cases. Another thing we can look at is, we can look at, for instance, how we can just compare.
I need to share for them to see.
Oh, okay, sorry. I have a lot of screens open, so it's very difficult to just move from one screen to another. So, but this is the kind of thing we can actually do with analytics, just making a simple dashboard. The beauty of a dashboard is that you can integrate it in your website. I can actually export this as a website and have it running live. The beauty again of this is that anytime NDDC updates their website, because I have this data directly from their website. You can actually import the data from the web using Excel. Anytime NDDC update their website, all I have to do is just to click on the refresh button. And once I click on the refresh button, it's refresh the data, and I go back to my my dashboard. All I need to do is just to click on refresh and see what happens when I click refresh. I don't know if this data for today is for today or something, but okay, I think I've actually clicked on refresh earlier this morning. So anytime I click on refresh, it automatically updates to the values, NDDC is reporting. So you can actually use this to, do simple dashboard, like for weather forecast, have your weather forecast, every day, every morning. You don't need to go online to check weather forecast, just open one of your spreadsheets to see what the weather will be. You can use it to make cases for different things, simple things you can make. You can make, dynamic charts like this, and, just to make, normal charts you don't find in Excel. You can, go further to customize your chart and give it, very good icons that you cannot find in Excel. So this is just a very, very short illustration. And just like I said, it's a descriptive analytics. And the next speaker will be talking about predictive analytics. And Emmanuel, just want to say one or two things before we go.
Not to take any time, I just wanted to say something in response to what the coordinator mentioned earlier. I have a petroleum engineering background. For my master's, I began to look into IT. You don't have to do a master's to begin data analytics. I highly recommend some websites, and one of them is W3 Schools and Udemy and Coursera. Most of their courses are free. But by the time you go through the introductory stage, you find yourself doing even greater works than what Dr. Onoja is displaying in this presentation. Thank you.
So we just hope you find this useful. And just like we said, it's just an introduction. And within 15 minutes, it's very difficult to do anything really serious. But the take home for us today is we can actually integrate data analytics into our businesses and into our anything we do in our normal life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emmanuel and Ojutule. We appreciate it. We are sorry because of the time constraints, you couldn't do so much, but you have done a great job at introducing us to what data analytics is. Thank you very much. We will not be taking the other session anymore, the machine learning using Python. We will just be going straight to the live session. And that is because of our time. I'm excited and it's my great pleasure to introduce to you our experts in the house. I am very excited to introduce our experts, and we are starting from the very first person. I'm sorry about this.
Losing your signal.
Yeah, okay, I'm losing my signal.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
It's better now.
okay, all right then. So we're going to be going straight into the live session, and I want to introduce our speakers. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having little issues with understanding, with sharing the slide where the speaker is, but we have seen already that our main speaker is Dr. Amama. Oh, great. Dr. Stella Maris Amama. Okay. I can't miss this. I can't miss this. It's my singular honor to present to you Stella Maris Amama, PhD. Dr. Stella Maris is an experienced data scientist with a PhD in artificial intelligence. Her areas of expertise include data warehousing, data analysis and machine learning, business intelligence, and data migration. database management, software programming, and test automation. She's also Prince 2 certified. She has worked with finance, oil and gas, renewables, healthcare, and geospatial domains. She has lectured at the Northeast Scotland College. She has served as the data migration manager at British Petroleum. She has served as the business intelligence lead in asset integrity management at ACA Solutions. She has also worked in machine learning and as a machine learning and data migration expert at Amri Consulting Limited, and currently works as a data scientist at CNOC International. Join me, make welcome Dr. Stella Maris Amama. You're welcome to the plenary session, Dr. Amama. Yakubu, please, can you unmute her? Yes, you can unmute her so she can actually speak up. I'll be going straight to the next person, and that is the person of Engineer Dayo Adebayo. Engineer Dayo has more than 2 decades of oil and gas industrial experience. He has expertise in various capacities in oil exploration, production, and asset management, which has led to his present assignment at as a regulatory and log custodian at CNOC International. His specialties are in data governance and management standards, processes and procedures, Oracle and MSDBs, administration and management skills, and has an in-depth knowledge of computer, network, and environment. It is my pleasure to welcome Engineer Dayo Adebayo. You're welcome, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the last person and on our panel is Toby Kasali. Toby Kasali is an IT professional with over 10 years of industry experience. She's part of the digital transformation team at CNOC, where she sets data analytics and integration strategy. She has worked as the senior database and systems consultant at Armor Group. She has also worked as a systems engineer at SAIC and was an information systems auditor at GT Bank. She is Cloudera, Oracle, and Prince 2 certified. She is interested in using data science and analytics to discover insights in our daily lives. Little wonder she's here. You are very welcome, Dr. Amama, Toby Kasali, and Engineer Dayo Adebayo. We are excited to have you in our midst. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Without any waste of time, we have people rolling in questions already. So we have some of them already, and we're going to be going straight into them. And I also want to let everyone know that if you have questions, you can just indicate using the raise hand icon on Zoom, and then we will take your question, or you can type it on chat. We'll ask your question as much as time permits. And those watching on Facebook, YouTube, just send your questions on chat, and it will definitely get to us. So we get started, and we're going to start with you, Dr. Stella Maris. So what are the core skills that can become a common denominator for professionals to fit into different sectors in a digitally transformed world?
Oh my God. I guess you just have to be alive. I mean, if you take the time to actually understand how things work, you will have the skills that are necessary. I mean, you can't, it's not a subset of this or the other. You don't have to be a doctor or whatever. You can't be anything. But if you actually know how to work in that niche, then you'll be set, I think. It's a good starting point.
Okay, thank you. So being alive and knowing the right skills actually teaches. So it's not just one skill for all, not one shoe fits. Just be alive, understand the trend, position yourself well, and then use it. Thank you very much, Dr. Mama. Toby, this is for you. Digitalization and digital transformation are common terms today. I mean, sometimes they're commonly interchanged. Is digitalization the same as digital transformation?
I think it depends on how the terms are applied. I think the most important thing to understand is, more important than the terms, is what it means and what that means to us as individuals, as an organization, and as a society as a whole. So I think in the first presentation, it was clear that digitalization involves rapid change due to the amount of data we have, due to change in technology, and due to changes in sort of our computing and processing power that we've been able to develop over the years. So whether it's called digitalization or digital transformation, I think for an industry like I'm currently in the oil and gas industry, so digital transformation is a term that we use to describe the change from the way we worked previously to what we want to be in the future. Changing our processes so that we can become essentially we're a company that's fit to survive in this new technology world. So if we then say we use digital technologies, digitalization is a way to digitally transform.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that insight. Engineer Dayo, understanding that data security is an aspect of data governance and digital transformation. And digital transformation will obviously lead to an increased data volume. I mean, when we already have how many gigabytes already, and we've not even been completely digitally transformed yet, definitely data transformation is going to increase the volume of data. The question now is, how does digital transformation impact security in data governance practices?
I think that's a very important question. When you talk about data, you also talk about the volume of data we have over there in the world, and it brings about the issue of security. And there's been a lot of discussion around security, and there have been a lot of breaches around security as well. One of the things we need to understand is that as we are going into digital age, then we are putting a lot of data out there in the space. And as a result of that, we are vulnerable to data breaches. And one of the things Europe has done is introducing what we call the GDPR in order to protect individual data and your own rights to data as well. So if you're putting your data out there on the cloud, you need to be very diligent, and also know that this data you are publishing out there in the cloud is vulnerable to data breaches, and that's why there is need for security around that data. You need to really secure your data. Just recently, I think it was last month or 2 months ago, that one of the prominent airline industry had to cry out that more than 5 million of their customer data have been accessed by hackers out there in the world. So that's why you see most industry now, they are trying to protect data, and they're also trying to really see that we are building security network to get those data secured. And that's where data governance also comes in, whereby we put in process where those data are also secured either by the organization or you yourself as an individual. Take, for example, you can't just go into any website there and just put in your details, especially your banking details. One of the rule of thumb we've always teach people in terms of security, whenever you go to a website, the first thing you look for is that lock key. If the lock key is not on that website, then don't put in any of your detail on that website, because that shows you that that website is not secure. And the same thing if you're going into business strategy and things like that, one of the things you also want to do is to bring in security around your website so that your customer coming to your website will be looking for that key, and then they'll be able to buy things online from you. Because if those things are not there, you're also losing your customer. So all this surrounds data governance, security, and data protection. I hope that clarified the question.
Yes, it does clarify the question. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Amama, in order for students and would-be employees to be digitally savvy, does anyone really learn how to code? Do we need to learn how to code? We've seen Python, R, and all. Do you need to learn how to code?
If you want to create applications, you need to learn how to code. It's like a carpenter asking, do I need to know how to use a hammer? I mean, if you want to create things with wood, you need to learn to use the hammer, and the hammer is the coding.
Okay, so we can see digital transformation is like creating. Does it mean I have to create something before I can say there's digital transformation?
No, I'm saying that if you want to create applications, to develop applications, you need to learn to code. But to simply use things in a digital way, well, you just have to want to use them. That's all.
That's true. That's true. Thank you very much. Toby, a lot is evolving. A lot is evolving. We are moving from non-renewables to renewable clean energy. How relevant is data science and machine learning in the energy industry?
I think it's even more important now because if you look at, say, conventional oil and gas, say in the North Sea, for example, it's more difficult now to access profitable barrels. And as an industry, I mean, safety is highly important. So we're constantly looking for ways to ensure that the barrels we get in conventional oil and gas are safe and profitable. And that's getting more difficult just because, for example, we want to use technology to make it easier to find your reserves. So if you have better data, then it's easier for you to know you don't make costly drilling errors. You don't make costly, you don't make costly drilling mistakes. And and we know, with the climate change, there's a desire to transition to sort of greener energy. We're going to need the profit, the technology, the experience from conventional oil and gas to transition into greener and more renewable forms of energy. So it's the data that we currently have and what we're learning, the sensors, understanding sort of energy consumption, CO2 production, will help us make the right decisions as most oil and gas companies sort of expand and transition from just conventional oil and gas to renewables. So, for example, it could be you have still maybe a conventional oil and gas production, a platform offshore. So maybe instead of using diesel, we want to start to use wind and energy to sort of wind energy to power our platforms. You need data science and analytics to even make it cheaper to do that, because these are costly projects. So a way could be, you can make it automated, using data science to automate more things. Therefore, you make it cheaper to transition because the investment you have to do in personnel and sort of in the running of that change is cheaper. So I think absolutely technology, digital transformation will enable us to transition easier onto renewables. I'll just give a quick example. You have some oil and gas companies now that are getting platforms that are remote controlled. So no, and I don't mean remote control, like a car that's driving, but it means that, you don't have to have sort of 200 people on a platform, right? That makes it cheaper to run, So if you're transitioning also to something like, okay, let's say let's have a small platform that's producing wind energy, you can scale back the size of the platform. If you know that you have the technology to run that remotely, it makes it easier to invest and even profitable for the oil and gas to say, this is an investment we can make because technology is going to make it easier for us to manage that.
Thank you very much.
And just to also add to that,
okay.
COVID-19 has brought in a lot of innovation into the oil and gas industry. One of the things that has really impacted the oil and gas industry is the low oil price. And we appreciate the use of technologies today, and it has really helped in driving down the cost of finding oil, especially one in the UKCS. When I talk about UKCS, I mean the United Kingdom Continental Shelf, where we are generally based here in the UK. Then also we have the Niger data business as well. So technology has really drive down the cost of finding oil. There was an instant in one of the major oil companies during this COVID. The MD was supposed to visit the platform, and for the MD to visit the platform, there's a lot of mobilizations that they need to do. Not just the MD now, but also we have the asset managers and the various CEOs that will be coming in to visit the platform at that time. This is something they do annually. So to do that, they will need to mobilize all those top managers all over the world, from US, from Norway, and not only that, they will need to come to Aberdeen and stay at least 2 days in an hotel. And 2 days in an hotel for 50 people like that, we are talking of running into thousands of pounds. Not only that, they'll also need to, some of them will also need to do the offshore survivor training as well, which runs into thousands of pounds. Not only that, they'll also need to mobilize the helicopter that will take the people to the platform. And they might talk about 50 people visiting the platform. You'll need nothing less than 5, 6 helicopter trips. And that's running into thousands of pounds. But with the use of technology today, do you know what they did? They applied technology in that operator, and then with that technology, they were able to visit the platform and look at the platform and make informed decisions just using technology. And this is what, has helped take away all those costs that will have impacted in finding oil for that particular operator. So technology is helping, and also is helping us to transit, like what my colleague Toby have said, from the conventional oil and gas into renewables, because there's a lot of initiative now bringing in renewables into the industry. But then that still did not drive, is not going to put away the conventional oil and gas, because the conventional oil and gas is here to stay for at least for the next 50 years, and even more than that, because all these renewables we are still talking about, there are still cost impact to that, and they will still need some oil to manage some of those plants that are producing all those renewable alternative to oil and gas. I hope that's able to clarify your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Even Yakubu seems very satisfied. All right, thank you very much. We are going to take a question from Blessing Opara. I'm going to unmute you now. I want to ask you to please put on your video and ask Dr. Emen your question. Have I unmuted you now?
Yes.
Okay.
So this will just be audio for now.
Okay.
This is for Dr. So you were saying something about online presentation, and I wanted to know, so how does an entrepreneur, for example, keep that space between sharing or having a life online and still, still being professional? Because, okay, if you look at it, like some of us that want to go into business, you see that your competitors, other business, other entrepreneurs, they are constantly online, making posts, sharing posts every day. So you're just learning how to be online, so how do you not begin to share your life, like, how do you strike that balance? So, how do you strike the balance between advertising and having your business online, having an online presence, and still keeping your personal life to yourself? Because that's one of the issues I have about having a digital space.
I think I've even made it. No, please. I'm sorry for even doing this.
We can't hear you.
Okay, I said I'm sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was saying maybe you want to respond to Beloved, to Blessing personally. You want to respond to her personally. So for now, we're going to only take questions that have to do with those on the live session. I'm sorry for that. So Ojotule wants to ask a question, and I don't know who that question is for.
Yeah, it's just about data integration, considering the existing systems, and currently we are in the age of data. There are some systems that it will be very difficult to integrate this data, and you need to find a way to rebuild them to make them more easily receptible to data, or to just find a clever way of doing it. But what's the best practice of integrating data into existing technology? That's the question.
And so Dr. Amama, Toby, who wants to go for the answer?
I'll give it a try. I'll see if I understand your question, and maybe you can clarify. Are you speaking about getting data from legacy systems and then integrating them into current data sources you already have? Is that what you're referring to? Just to be clear.
I'm sorry, I did not get my.
So I just wanted to clarify your question. So you mentioned that about integrating data. So I'm asking, is that getting data from legacy systems that is difficult to get data from?
No, it's not the system now. It's not the data itself. For instance, if you have some tools that you use in your work to analyze, for instance, risk analysis, for instance, let me be more specific. Risk analysis.
Okay.
You want to expand it, for instance, like a bow tie tool, and you need to integrate a lot of data, real-time data into your bow tie. So how do you, is it a case of redesigning the bow tie, or a case of, if there is no clever way of just doing it, how do you, what is the best practice for such, scenario where you can't really modify a design?
Okay, I think I'll take this from a sort of data integration perspective, and then maybe Stella can take it from maybe a more specific engineering perspective. So you're going to have this with most applications, because applications in general, just before now, were not built as data-driven applications. So they were not built to take data and analyze data. They were built for specific purposes, one data source to solve one particular problem. What we understand now is that you can have different data sources to paint a better picture, and you want to put those data sources together so you can get a bigger picture of a better picture of the environment or the situation, or of your application or the problem that you're trying to solve. So usually, for most problems we try to solve, not just in the oil industry, is that you are going to have to integrate that data outside of that system. So I'll give an example. So if, for example, you have in oil and gas now, you want to solve a problem that has to do with maintenance, right? But you have a system that stores your events data. That's a completely different system. The only thing it stores is events that happen. You have your real-time system that's giving you real-time streaming data of your sensors. You have another system that's dealing with your maintenance data. All the systems are three separate systems doing specific things. And within the systems themselves, you cannot integrate the data. So you have to pull them out. And this is where you get people who then build these data science platforms, these huge data science platforms, to pull data out of the original source systems and then manipulate them there using, like you've shown, Python, R, machine learning algorithms. But because then you then have to feed your data back in. So what you get is for the legacy systems, it's quite hard to feed that data back in because they're not made to receive data from even your analytics. So essentially, what companies do is really write and have data science platforms that exist outside those applications where you do your analysis and then you take your data back. You can then, and maybe this is where Stella will mention about creating something. You can either have write APIs back into the system. Mostly, if you want to do this for an enterprise application, you have to work with a vendor. And this has to be an enterprise-wide thing. And it's usually not quite easy to get that done. So the best that usually happens now, especially for enterprise-wide applications, where, to be honest, it's going to be very hard to make those changes bespoke, is that the response back is then manual. It then goes into an intelligent decision making that you make with the application that you're using, as opposed to maybe an automated analytics response back into the application. Stella, if you'd like to add anything to that.
Okay, to add a little to what Toby has said, it depends on whether your system has been can be exposed, whether it exposes the data to the outside. So if for instance, the bot type stores data in one of the newer databases, then yes, you can write an interface to that database and everything will remain as it is. And if the protocol for getting the data are also known, even if it's not for a new database, but if whoever designed the system knows how the data moves from point A to B, you can still write an interface. The question is, what is the cost? The cost of creating the interface might be much higher than just overhauling everything, you throw it out the window and create a new one. So yeah, those decisions are, well, that have to be made. And
I guess let me, no, go on, sir. I think
okay.
It's a general problem. So it's not something that it's a problem like I said, it's a problem that is faced everywhere, particularly because, like we said, most systems aren't designed to sort of even receive outside. They were closed shops. We design systems for applications not to be receiving instructions from analytic solutions. So like Stella said, if you have, and you have some now who have, who are open, who have protocols that you can write back to, but the question then comes to cost. If especially it's an enterprise application in the company, you're unlikely to, and I think both are easier, it's unlikely that you will get that done. So the question then becomes, do we buy something else, or do we then work with informed intelligence, so that what the analysis that you do is in a dashboard, somebody looks at that and can then make an intelligent decision, an informed decision based on the analysis that you have on the information that's in Bota as well.
Maybe I can just also add to what my colleagues have said earlier on, at least with my background in integrations I've done over the years in the industry. Like what Toby and Stella have said earlier on, generally when systems are designed in the past, they are designed specifically for that company to manage their own profile. Okay, take for example, Schlumberger, I would need to just mention names here, Halliburton, they have their various systems, and their systems were really designed to manage their own operation. But over the years, when we start having the issue of data integration, now we, the operators, start talking to these companies that, guys, you need to talk to each other. We cannot just be specific on using Schlumberger tools or be specific using Halliburton systems. Most of the operators today want a situation where they can use just a basket of different systems, from Schlumberger, from Halliburton, from Baker Hughes, and all other service companies out there. I'm talking from the oil and gas industry now. But when that scenario now presented itself, this company, they started talking to each other. They started opening up their platform whereby they can integrate their tools together. And this has helped the industry in data integration now. So we have a scenario now that is very easy to move from an Halliburton platform into a Schlumberger platform, or to move from a Schlumberger platform into maybe a Petrus's platform, because of the open source, integrated tools that have been created by these systems. And this is what we're experiencing in the industry. But there have been cases whereby legacy data we are not being able to integrate fully into the new system. So what have we done in the industry at such a time? What we've done is, like we say, we've looked at the cost impact of such a data and also the benefits to the organization for all those legacy data. So what we did in some of the organizations I've worked with over the years was to put those data aside, those ones that cannot migrate into the new system immediately. But after some time, we go back again and review those data, make some informed decision, and then take those data, apply some project management process in the integration of those data. I don't know if that's really able to answer your question. So you see, it's not just integrating data or moving data. You need to also look at the cost. You also need to look at the impact of the benefit of such data, especially when it comes to legacy data, to the old organization, and also the production optimization of such data. What impact will it have for the company? So I think we have Dr. Udome all the way from Coventry. I think he wants to make some contribution to that as well. So Dr. Udome, you are welcome. The floor is open to you. Dr. Udome happens to be my friend. He's a lecturer also. He's also into data analytics and a lecturer from University of Coventry. Dr. Udome, are you on mute?
Yeah, I've just asked Okwe to unmute her because he dropped it on the chat. So Okwe is going to unmute her so she can comment.
Him, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I just it's a quite interesting topic, and I know everyone's been talking from the oil and gas industry, and I kind of just thought about it from, let's say, from the education industry as well. You know, data integration. When you look at, for example, different universities use different virtual learning platforms like Moodle, Canvas, Aula, and things like that. And recently in my university, we are moving from Moodle, as we speak now, we're moving from Moodle to Aula. Aula is a brand new system. We've never used it before. I don't think so many universities have used it. And one of the questions that has come up is, how do you transfer your materials from Moodle onto Aula? Now, I know some of us, some of the speakers have talked about integration, and sometimes it's more challenging and more costly for systems to talk to each other, because you now have to create different codes and things like that. And, you know, to get that, it may even take more time. So what universities do is just use a different platform completely, and then they just do a migration rather than allowing the data to talk to each other. Just do a migration. So we are now migrating from Moodle to Aula. And one thing Aula does is you can put different types of information on it, like your PowerPoint, your videos, and all of that. So data transfer, data integration, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but I know one of our sisters has mentioned that it's quite challenging, costly, and it's not easy to do. So it's better to use a brand new different platform entirely than trying to allow data to talk to each other.
Thank you very much, Dr. Udome. We appreciate that contribution. Dr. Stella, this question is to you. It's on Zoom here. We see someone asking, are there specific paths to take to become a data scientist, that is learning programming first, statistics, etc.? And are there recommended courses or books from the beginning progressing to the end?
Okay, I'm going to plagiarize now. Emmanuel mentioned something very important. He said analysis starts with Excel. And as far as I know, anyone that starts with Excel has a chance to actually to learn to think things through. Okay, you don't begin by doing, you begin by thinking about what you're going to do, and then you do. So regarding the path, like I said earlier, but I think my volume was very low. First, you need to understand how things work. Somebody very interesting, sorry, I've forgotten your name, the one with a feedback loop. There was a feedback loop regarding the control system. Yes. See, if I'm going to create something, I need to understand how control systems work. I mean, if I want it to work, if I want my what I've created actually be of any use. So it is all very romantic to think of, oh, I'll program in R and Python and I'll be very good at programming, right? But it means that you're going to be stuck with somebody probably you don't like telling you what to do, right? So the person who knows how things work is the boss. You're just the person holding the hammer. So you need to choose. Do you want to be Joseph the carpenter, or do you want to be the hammer? If you want to be Joseph the carpenter, you're going to learn how things work and then learn to code in Python or R or SAS or anything, and then you'll be a proper data scientist. That is my view. That is the kind of thing I'll tell my child. But it's a decision anyway it's an individual decision, by the way, basically.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stella. Understand how things work. So that's it. Toby, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Right. And I'll be directing my question to Toby and Stella as well. Now, we've said a lot, and also Dr. Dyer, we've said a lot about data-driven decision, sensors and all that. I just want us to have like a use case. So say, for instance, now this particular use case, this particular operation, we're set out to do this, we got this kind of data, we did, I mean, things that does not encroach on privacy whatsoever, but something that we can relate, like very, very granular, that people can relate and understand exactly what it means to implement a data-driven decision system in the industry, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Stella, I think I'll let you take this one.
Oh my goodness.
Just high level, I think would be good.
Just high level. Okay, as an example, maybe we found for one client, we found issues with instrumentation that they didn't even know existed. Okay, so there are some instruments they thought were in one of those old fields in North Sea, and they had never been installed. And that came from looking at the data, because all this time they thought that they had these things in the field and they didn't. And then there's the question of, I don't know if you're conversant with valves. Valves are like taps. So when you use them, they begin to stick, and that's not the kind of thing that you'd learn by. I mean, you can only you can only find that out by looking at the data, or when the valve actually fails. So we did some work with one of those clients, and yeah,
I'll give. I think I think I'll just give like a simple example. So yes, and I try to anonymize as well. So for example, say we have sensors on a platform, and this sensor reads wind, water. We have sensors for wind, we have one sensor for moisture, and we do analysis of sort of the moisture content as well. And then we're getting and we have insulation that's wearing out quickly on one side of a pipeline than the other, right? So in one instance, it was a case of trying to understand what was the difference. It's the same insulation. They undergo the same inspection regime. What is it that's causing this insulation to wear out on this side of, other than this the other one? So you know, and when you're looking at the data, because you're looking at all these data points, it's hard sometimes to see correlations. But if you put your, so imagine well, the sort of use case that happened is putting all these data points together and just using sort of this simple correlation algorithms to say, are there any of these data points that we have, these sensors that we get on this entire pipeline of data and other sensors that are around this area? Can we see there's any correlations? And of course, it seems so simple. And there was, and this was when I mean water temperature, was also weather data involved. And what we just found was that one side was more exposed to the prevailing winds and was causing sort of abrasion based on the heavier sort of just the something so simple, just based on the fact that the correlation essentially was the wind. Because of where it was facing and how the platform was positioned, the stronger prevailing winds was causing more erosion on that side. So when this was designed initially, that wasn't taken into consideration. So the ability to sense, okay, what is that data point? What is that? And then you go and say, okay, actually, now we can see that it is the fact that, and of course, it was a human being that understood that the reason why what is that data point? And this is what maybe Stella was talking about. You have to have an understanding of what's happening. If I was sat in an office, I can just see wind, but I don't know what that means. Essentially, I can just see one data point correlates to another data point. That's nice because that's just a mathematical algorithm, right? But what does that mean in the context of the design, in the context of the reality of where that platform is, of where that pipeline is to solve a problem? So that needed an engineer, in this case, who understood not only how to use a correlation algorithm, but understood where the pipeline was, understood how the platform was facing, to be able to arrive. The conclusion was there. The solution was in the data, but to be able to use that data to get an informed decision, to change, to find a solution, required those sort of three. So you have the data, you are able to use the algorithms, but then you understand the problem and you are able then to put the solution to solve it. So it's all those things coming together. So it was quite a simple thing, but I mean, no, without the data points, it would have been very, and without the algorithm to make that correlation, because where do you start? So you have sort of the three components in that way to make an informed decision to understand this is one pipeline, but because of this design, we're going to have to change how much insulation is put on that side because of what we found in the data.
Thank you very much.
Just to also add to that, that's from the engineering side. But from the soft surface, I've been involved in case studies like that. I remember, I think about roughly 10 years ago, while working for ExxonMobil, we came to a decision that, okay, our platform is no more profitable, right? Then Apache came in and we joined Apache Corporation. That particular platform that we thought while we're in ExxonMobil is going to dry out, and then we're going to do a decommissioning and things like that. Apache now introduced technology, digital transformation, and data analysis into that project, and we took the whole platform as a case study. Do you know what happened? Not down the line, using data-driven decision, a decision was made to drill a particular well in that same platform, a new well. And guess what happened? We hit over, I think, about 18,000, either 8,000 or 15,000 barrels per day. And that's profit for Apache. What Mobil thought is not profitable became profit for Apache. That's data-driven decision being taken there. The same thing in CNOC, there was one of our platforms, we're thinking of decommissioning. But when I joined CNOC in 2012, we were involved in a kind of data-driven decision and analysis for that particular platform. And we did a lot of data cleansing, data analysis and things like that. And the decision was made that, okay, we are going to hold on to the decommissioning of this platform. And a well was rigged. Guess what happened? 8,000 barrels per day producing in that same platform we thought of decommissioning. And these are cases where data have been used to drive decisions that became profitable to the organization. I don't know, does that clarify your question?
Yeah, absolutely. That pretty much answers it, because I was just interested in the use case. And just to add a little bit in another dimension aside from where we've looked at it, we've actually looked at lots of things from the engineering perspective. And it's good Dr. Okeme came on and took things from the education side of things. Now, besides engineering and education, there's also the business side of things. If you're here, you're an entrepreneur or you're working in business, you should understand that data-driven decision making that Toby, Stella, and all of us have been discussing, it also applies to you. Machine learning, we're actually supposed to do a machine learning thing. We probably might do it later. You could do customer segmentation. You could do different kind of clustering. You can gather information. You can do surveys to understand what your customers really need. And when you can do surveys and know what your customers need, is analogous to you putting a sensors to some of these engineering facilities for them to speak to you. Because when you put a sensor, they are speaking to you. And when you do a survey from your customers, they are equally speaking to you. And you can analyze this data. And based upon the analysis, you can derive actionable insight, which when you implement, they bring profit. You use it to optimize your process and you can make more money. If you've been placing advert on Facebook, you can do lots of analytics from Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics. You can know if your advert is making sense, if it's having leads. You can analyze like your leads that are coming from your website or from your online platform, conversion rate and stuff like that. All of these are data-driven decisions, even in business as well. Okay, I'll let you take over.
All right, thank you very much. It's really interesting, and we have just 6 minutes to end this program. I don't know how that's going to be because we have lots of questions coming in. We still see lots of people wanting to raise their hands up, and I really don't know what we're going to do right now. But okay, let's just take one more. Let's just take some questions. So we've already seen that digital transformation is not necessary. It can actually go across a non-STEM path. So we've seen that in the comments too. So we don't need to go through that. Now, Toby, there's this question I've been meaning to ask you. It's one of our compiled questions. Now we see the use of drones to deliver COVID-19 materials. We see robots cleaning the floors, etc. That's in addition to what has been going on and all what we've been saying. Does evolving into digital transformation, into a digitally transformer, does it mean no more jobs for humans?
I think this is a question that always gets asked. I think it's not that it's not that jobs for humans will be wiped away, but jobs will be changed. But this has always happened. This is a natural sort of evolution. If we go back to from the very beginning, when people started with sort of the first industrial revolution, the second, when people started in cotton factories, people were pulling cotton and making cotton with their hands into clothes. All those when became, we started having factories, mechanization, and we started having less people doing all those sort of jobs, even with sort of car making. We've always had this sort of industrialization that has reduced human input. It doesn't mean human jobs will disappear. It means the jobs will change. So what you have just now, and I'll give an example. I'm very interested in aviation. If you look at maybe flying 40 or 50 years ago, human beings the pilots had to be in total control of everything. They had to manage their airspeed. They had to manage the thrust, the engine setting, But nowadays you have autopilot. So we used to have three. You had to have two pilots and one flight engineer. The flight engineer had to be monitoring all the instruments to make sure everything went. As we now have autopilot, which was of course automation, what happened is, yes, the flight engineer's role was taken over by the onboard pilot computer. But the pilots themselves have also trained to be able to use the software to fly the plane. So some jobs will go, but most jobs will evolve to use technology. So I think what we must, and I think this was spoken about by Ikubu in the first presentation, what is important is that we understand the changing times. We understand where new technology is going, and we adopt in whatever field that we are to the new technologies and put that into whatever field that we have so that we can be relevant in the future. Everything, you don't have to in everything you are doing, the pilots in the air are not programmers, but they have to learn how to work with autopilot to fly their planes. So if whatever industry you're in, you have to understand the way the technology is going, so you can apply that in whatever it is you are doing, so you are relevant for the future. It's only the people who don't change. It's only the people who say, we're not going to move with technology, we're going to do things the same as we are, who will be left behind.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, that's a summary of everything. We need to change, and that's just it. We are here. We understand where we are going, where the world is going, and there is that need to change, and that is the whole essence of this program. Thank you very much, because jobs will be changed. So get set to fit in. Thank you very much. Priscilla Balogun, I have unmuted you. So I'll just like you to ask your questions very quickly, and then Dr. will be responding to Blessing's question, and then we will call it a day.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is based on data protection. We know that so many things are changing, and there are new technologies, and there are new devices as well. I enjoy using this is it Google Assistants or devices like maybe Alexa. Alexa, can you do this? Alexa, can you do that? I like the idea, and I like how it works. But then I tried to install it on my phone, and then it asks for permission. So you have to grant permission to do certain things, especially your card. That's either your credit or debit card. So you can say, Alexa, order pizza for me. How can we protect, or how do we know which technology or device to avoid, so that we won't put all this our information? Because it's not only Alexa that is in the market right now, there are many other devices. So how do we get information on the particular one to use where we know that our personal data is being protected? Thank you.
I think Engineer Dyer was supposed to respond to that.
Okay. Like I said, Mrs. Balogun, whenever you are putting your personal details on the cloud, you need to look for the ones that has the S after the HTTP. That shows you is a secured website. So if you are going on Amazon, you are using Alexa. Alexa allows you the privilege to manage your profile online. And if you manage that, if you go to that website and if it's not secured, don't put your details there. Any other voice over text website that you're using, because not just Alexa, now you have many of them, that you're going to put in your personal details, your bank details and things like that. You want to ensure that all those websites have the lock facilities to show that it's secured. Then the other thing you can also do when it comes to banking, you can set a limit on your bank details, how much you can spend online without the bank calling you. You can do that with if you have a good bank, you can do that, so that if you go beyond that limit, then you expect the bank to call your personal mobile number to authorize that that transactions. These are some of the ways you can really secure your details online. I don't know if that seems to answer your question.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir. Sister, Dr. Do you want to quickly respond to Blessing's question?
For Blessing's question on managing you have a personal profile. What you notice is you should have a business profile that is separate from your personal profile. So if you look at some of these people, you see their pages. They're not really adding you as a friend. They add you to their page. You follow. So those are some of the things so for your Facebook, you can have a Facebook page for your business that is separate from your personal Facebook. And then maybe like for YouTube or so, you can have that your personal YouTube. You set the privacy limits so that only certain people, maybe your family, there are some things you want to share with your family. So only certain people can see what you post, while you now have the one where so many people can follow you, can do that. So those are one, there are many things, but I think that is one of the simplest ways to do it. But even once you have a business or you have a face, something, just be careful, even on your personal page, your reputation is at stake. So you would still have to be sensitive to what you put even on your personal page, but you can separate the two.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emma. We are definitely wrapping up now. This is past 3 already. But before we go, we just want Dr. Stella, Toby, and Engineer Dio to give us their final end notes. Just a few minutes and we'll just bring it to a close. So Dr. Stella, you go first.
I would encourage everybody to do their best. I mean, there's a lot of hype. Everybody wants to do robotics and so on, right? And that's good, but first get grounded in something, and then move on to digitalize. I mean, to automate what you know. Okay, that's. I can't really emphasize that any more than I have.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Understand where you're going, then automate it. Thank you. Engineer Dio.
I think I'll let Toby go first.
Okay.
Thank you. So I think for me, I think it's quite similar. I think you have to get yourself in a field, something that you're passionate about, because when you are passionate about something, you're more likely to want to solve a problem. And then when you're trying to solve a problem, that's when the ideas and the different kind of solutions you want come from. And then you can look for possible ways to digitalize. What I would say is that I sort of have an IT background. So for me, it was IT first, and then you learn about the business. I just want to encourage everybody that there's no one way to do it. If you're IT focused, then you have to learn about the business. If you're business focused, then you have to learn about the IT and the machine learning part of it. So nobody has it all. So I just want to encourage everybody, if there's something you want to do on this, get yourself in the field that you're passionate about, and then just try to understand the gaps that you're missing. Everybody has a gap. So be encouraged. And when you want to step out, just take time to learn close the gaps that you need to.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. For me, I just want to summarize using 3 words. I know most of you that knows me, and I'm always good with using 3 words. So I want to talk one about problem, passion, and personality, right? Problem. What do I mean by that? Identify the needs around you. There are a lot of needs around us. Look at your environment, your immediate circle. If you talk about digital transformation, you're talking about digitalization, you're talking about data, you are looking to solve problem. Identify the needs, that's the problem. Passion, have a desire within you to solve that need. Have that passion. A man with a passion will go, or a woman with a passion will go at all lengths to solve a need. And with that passion, then your personality, develop yourself. We have all talked about learning new skills, getting ideas. We've shown you a lot of links today where you can develop yourself. Don't just stay there. Don't say, oh, I'm too old to learn. Nobody is too old to learn. I remember the case of a former president of a country, Nigeria. After he left his position, he went back to the university. He did his degree. He did his master's. He did his PhD. As I'm talking to you now, he's even marking PhD student thesis now. And this man is not a young man. He's in his 70s, approaching his 80s. So develop yourself, stretch yourself, learn new skills. We've all said it, either IT, business, or whatever you have, you can still do something in this digital age. That's what I would just leave for every one of us. I hope we take a lot of things with all we've learned today and start practicing all these things.
Sure.
And we see all of us at the top.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Very much. We appreciate this. Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Stella, Toby, Engineer Dio. We appreciate your presence. Thank you. Thank you for gracing this event. Want to thank everybody who has taken time out. It's because we want to get better, and that's why we're all here. So thank you for coming. We thank all our speakers. I see lots of chats here saying they want to still hear about the machine learning and all. I'm not going to keep our guest speakers. I'm not going to keep our panelists. So Dr. Stella, Toby, Engineer Dayo, you are please free to leave. As many that still want to stay to hear and to listen to Yakubu on the machine learning, please feel free to do so. And please keep your questions coming in, even if we cannot take them now. We'll compile them, we will answer them as much as we can. And please just like our Facebook page, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and you will keep seeing lots of these coming on. So as I said before, we are Glight Ambassadors on Facebook. We are Glight Ambassadors Aberdeen on Facebook, and we are also Deeper Life Campus Fellowship RGU Aberdeen, and on Instagram we are at Glight Ambassadors Aberdeen. So just follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, watch out for updates, and you'll be amazed at what you will see. So please just keep the questions coming. You can drop them even on our Facebook, on Instagram. It will get to us. We will answer as much as we can, and we will get back to you. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for coming. I don't know if Yakubu has something to say. I've told you before, he's our chairman in Glight. He's the head, he's the chief convener. And I don't know if he has one or two things to say.
Well, I really want to appreciate everybody for the time spent, for those that we came together in the planning session. And we want to thank our pastor, Dr. Dayo Adebayo, and for helping us contact Stella Maris. And really appreciate the fact that you're obliged to come. And just as Okwen noted, we were very surprised when we saw she was already on, because we were told she wasn't coming till later. And when we saw her earlier, our spirit was lifted. Yeah. We're sincerely happy to have you. And before, we weren't sure that Toby will be joining us, but yesterday when we got the information, I had to ring Okwen and I say, we've got Toby joining us again. I mean, your presence has really lifted our spirit, and people have gained a lot. You can see from the chat list, a lot has been passed across, and we believe that the passion and desire to digitize has been ignited in people, and people can go ahead all lengths to learn these things and improve themselves and get ready for a prosperous career. Thank you, everybody, for your time. And
thank you so much.
Machine learning.
Thank you for having us.
I'm thinking we're ending the program now. I don't know, some persons are thinking of staying back. What we want to do is we could have another time to run through the machine learning algorithm. We're supposed to do a supervised learning algorithm using Python today, sklearn. We've generated some data, but we will plan it. You can reach us on Facebook, reach us on Instagram, make comments, send us private messages. We'll try to respond, and we can reschedule. If the lockdown continues, we'll definitely be having another one. It's a monthly seminar that we do, just as Okwe said. So we can actually repeat this, or not repeat, actually carry over this to the next one when we go planning. So that's what I will advise. Okwe, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. I want to especially recognize Gabriel Mobuogu. He was the first person to come in as early as 11 o'clock from Nigeria. I want to thank you very much for joining. I want to thank whoever linked you from New Zealand and all. It's exciting. We appreciate you. I want to thank Jemima and Jeremiah from Nigeria on Facebook. We see you, we know you're there. And those watching from YouTube, we thank every one of you. Thank you very much for coming. And as we started with prayers, we're going to end with prayers. So I just want us to bow our hearts to pray. In Jesus' name we've prayed.
Amen.
Father, we cannot thank you enough for so much we have learned. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for igniting things in our hearts. And thank you for most importantly, discovering that we all have a voice and we can use it. We can all be good in whatever areas we choose. We pray that as we go back to understand what we need to know, and you stretch forth our hands, put out the passion, do our own bit, we pray you help us to be excellent, help us to master these things, and help us to be able to fit in this evolving world in Jesus' name. And we want to pray most importantly and above all that even as we want to fit into the world as it evolves, help us to fit into your kingdom in Jesus' name. We appreciate you because we know you've answered. We pray all our speakers that you have used, we pray you will bless them indeed in Jesus' name. We thank you because we know you've heard. In Jesus' mighty name we've prayed.
Amen.
Want to thank you once again, Dr. Stella, Toby, Engineer
Thank
Dayo. Want
you.
to thank Dr. Udeme. Want to thank all the ICT people in UK. We thank you. Want to thank Mrs. Funke from joining from South Africa. We can't name you all. We can't exhaust the lead. Pastor Niyi, we thank you. We appreciate everybody for coming. Our very own Joseph Anuko, we thank you also. We thank you. We cannot call your names all one after the other, but we thank you. Thank you very much for coming and hopefully see you in another session. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Pastor Elias, for joining all the way from Nigeria.
Thank you,
Mm.
Dr. Udeme.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Deme.
Oluwatobi Esther, for joining from Coventry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Numpi.
Thank
Thank you, Ola
Titi, for joining from
Blessing.
London.
Thank you.
Somebody
Thank you, Festus. Thank you, Titi. Thank you,
Yeah,
Numpi.
Titi is from London.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kyle Dekpopola. Thank you.
Oh, we also Ascot. Ascot used to be our member in Aberdeen. He also joined.
Oh, yes. I noted that now he's in Telford. You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Dr. Onoto, thank you for coming.
Yes, Dr. Noto. Thank you, Mike
I can see Mike Ogiego. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Festus.
thank you for coming.
Nice to have everybody.
Lawrence, DLCF, thank you. Adedotun, thank you. Numpai, I particularly like that name Numpai because I'm supposed to do machine learning. How are we doing Numpai? When Okwe was like, people should use their name, and I'm like, Numpai, don't use your name. I like saying Numpai.
Okay.
Pandas. If I see Numpai, I need to see pandas.
Thank you, Dr. Peter Elias. Dr. Peter Elias, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Our
very
dear Lenso, National Youth Pastor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You want to say a word
Yeah,
to
we don't mind if we can unmute them if they want to say a word to
Yes,
us.
please, can you?
We are very open. Okwe, can you help us do that?
Yes, please.
I'm doing that now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So everybody can talk.
That's Dr. Lawrence. That's Lawrence. Okay. Welcome.
Okay. So you can go.
Did you unmute?
Thank you. Yes, I unmuted Dr. Lawrence.
Yeah?
I unmuted Dr. Lawrence.
So what's that thing?
Okay,
And the planning committee, thanks for planning this all out.
All right.
That's what you're saying.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you for your commitment.
Oh, yeah.
It was a wonderful.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, sir. When we have a digital pastor, what can we do?
For hosting and moderating, you did well. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, MM. Thank you, Emmanuel.
No, it was nice.
So, Emmanuel, okay, thank you. You made data analytics. Seems so simple.
Very soon I'll do video. Zoom, 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 zoom. Please, how do you end life?
Dr. Peter, do you want to say something?
Yes.
Dr. Peter, you are on. Dr. Peter Elias.
People are greeting.
Okay, maybe it's having challenge.
Yes, maybe.
All right.
So, don't end. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll
All
end
right.
the meeting.
Yeah.